Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Fall in Love with a Princess Diva in Backrooms Part 8. Epilogue I, Naofumi. Return to Melramerk. Previously we saw Issei and his group went into the room after seeing the truth of the redacted watcher. They needed to stop him and rescue Ruby from his clutches. They enter the room to see an unconscious Ruby in a glass bowl, along with an unconscious man next to them, who was revealed to be the legendary Dr. Charles. They try to wake Ruby up, however a familiar voice stops them, revealing to be the redacted watcher in his avatar form. His true name was revealed to be Azrael, the twin brother of the fallen angel Azazel. They then begin to fight with the watcher, easily overwhelming most of the group with ease, even tormenting them like ragdolls. Issei has no choice but to go all out if they have a chance of surviving this. This allows them to turn the advantage to their favor. They were able to push back against the watcher, which allowed them to destroy the watcher, or so it seemed. They then headed back and woke up Ruby and Dr. Charles, who revealed that Issei was the chosen one, who was destined to slay the Watcher to free him from his eternal curse. They then decided to leave, however. The Watcher revealed to be alive, now in his corporeal form. He attacked the group, nearly killing most of them, with everyone minus the Crimson Wanderer were unconscious. Issei wakes up the first and sees that the Watcher must be stopped. He then asked both Drake and Bell, as they were both ready for the final fight against the Watcher. Issei released both Drake and Bell into the fight as they began to attack the Watcher, who responded back in full power. The corporeal form was destroyed and revealed the core. Issei damaged the core, and the form returned for a while, now weakened. The next thing the Watcher did was attack the group and went after Drake, damaging him a bit, but he recovered and they once again attack, with the group protected by the weakened Crimson Wanderer. The group were waking one by one. They saw that Issei was fighting and were forced to watch her, since they were too weak to do anything but watch. As for the trio, Bell and Drake used their attacks to attack the corporeal form, exposing the core once again. Issei then destroyed the core once and for all, killing the Watcher and freeing him from his curse. In his last words he asks Issei that he would better stay forgotten. After that Issei was exhausted and fell as Ingvild held her lover. It was finally over. They then see John's grandfather show up, who was named Galen Ark. After hearing what had happened after his death, he gave John the Ark name back. He annulled his disownment done by his son. After that they had a normal conversation. He then returns back to his spirit song, saying goodbye to his son and to reclaim his throne. After that they leave the Soul Heir since it was being destroyed. They end up in level 3999. After their reunion, they decided to go to the Promised Land, where they rest for the night. The next day they have their breakfast, and they decided to leave since they were done. After saying their goodbyes with Heinz and Jerry staying back, they exit by the exit door, where there was a junction. After which Naofumi splits up from the rest of the group and heads to Melramerk, while the others head to Kuo. Melramerk, 12:30 am. Naofumi looked around the area. It has been a month since he was forcefully sent to the Backrooms. His priority was to look for both Raphtalia and Philo. He needed to find them given the country had just improved their relationships with the demi-humans. Naofumi. Philo, Raphtalia, where are you? Naofumi rushed around. He wanted to use fast travel to check for all the locations they were. He then saw a Tanuki demi-human and a little girl with tiny bird wings. They seemed to be slaying monsters out in the open, since they needed to be stronger ever since their master's disappearance. We need to train harder. 2. You said it, Philo. Ever since Master disappeared, she has been harassing us and trying to hurt us. We have defended ourselves, but we cannot any longer. Naofumi mentally cursed as he knows it was mine's no bitch's doing. Naofumi. That bitch. Naofumi gritted his teeth. He wanted to torment that bitch for what she was doing during his absence. He knew that this would happen. Ever since he has no clipped into this reality. He had the absolute pain ready in his hand, but first he had to meet his friends and slaves, although family would be the better term for them. Naofumi looked as both Raphtalia and Philo were fighting against the monsters, trying their best to level up and get stronger. He then decided to make a call. Naofumi. Raphtalia, Philo. Their ears then perked up to hear his voice. They saw him with a smile on his face. Although his attire was different, he was still the same Naofumi Iwatani. They rushed him at blinding speeds faster than he could detect and embraced him. They both had tears in their eyes. He had been missing for a month, and even the Queen's search party had found nothing. It was like he had just vanished out of thin air. Raphtalia then spoke. Raphtalia. Where were you, ma master? Na Naofumi. Naofumi shushed her. He then spoke. Naofumi. Come you two, I will explain everything to you. Philo. Please don't leave me like this again, Master Waiaya. Philo was crying on his shirt endlessly. Naofumi calmed both of them down. He knew that this is going to take a while. He then told them everything that had happened. I'm Skip, brought to you by Naofumi, tormenting mine, bitch, on a rack, making her feel the pain. Naofumi explained everything from how he was sent to level 0, his journey to level 5, meeting Issei, John and Ruby, meeting Ingvild on level 7, facing many enemies, meeting Meg and Summer Rose, having a run-in with the Dark Metro, nearly losing his life which scared the two, going to level 6.1 to recover, heading to many enigmatic and undiscovered locations, facing the redacted watcher, Issei beating him and finally going home home, it took a decent 3 hours to finish the complete explanation, not that it mattered, given that they listened to everything intently. Raftalia. So you were in another dimension. Naofumi. Yup, surprising although I did not go by choice, I was brought here and I met people who I could trust with my life. Philo. And you nearly died. I am sorry that we could not be with you. Naofumi. Don't beat yourself, Philo, I am just glad I could return to you too. Naofumi cuddled both Philo and Raftalia together, which resulted in a Philo that cuddled next to him, while Raftalia was blushing intensely. They then split up. Raftalia. I wish I could meet them myself, they seem to be pretty nice. Philo. Although I don't like dragons, I will make an exception with the Red Dragon Emperor, he seemed to make you nicer. Naofumi. Speaking of which, how is the village doing? Raftalia. Me and Keel have been keeping the village together, many others were helping me as well, they all missed you and wanted you back, they believed you would come back to us, anyways, let's first go to the queen, she was looking for you as well. Naofumi. Right, I need to thank her for looking after you guys while I was missing, was she good? Raftalia. Yup, aside from that bitch trying to hurt us, she did hurt us, but that was a few days ago, after that the queen forcefully removed her from the Spear Heroes party and imprisoned in the prison. If you weren't here, she would have killed us. Naofumi was livid on this, he knew that the bitch falsely accused of rape and framed him into a monster, she did it a step further by constantly making his life a living hell, she went after his friends, that is unforgivable, she has crossed a line, and now she will pay. Naofumi. That's too far, let's go to the queen, I would like to personally meet that bitch right now. Raftalia and Philo were intimidated, they knew whatever was going to happen to bitch was going to be extremely brutal. Raftalia then spoke. Raftalia. What are you going to do, Master Naofumi? Naofumi. I am ending this once and for all. Sorry if I intimidated the two of you, I never wanted to. Raftalia. No, it's alright. Philo. Yup, let's go and meet the queen, I can meet Melty as well. Naofumi nodded, he then turned away and smiled, he was happy to see them once again, they then walked to the Melremerk royal castle. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Naofumi wondering what he should do next to improve Raftalia's village with the queen and Raftalia helping him in whatever way they can. Melremerk Castle, the home of the royal family and the place where Queen Morella lived. Queen Morella was a woman in her 30s, a beautiful fair-skinned woman with purple hair that is tied up in a bob with collarbone-length bangs hanging on either side, purple eyes and pale purple lipstick. She is normally in her intricately decorated royal gown with what appears to be a bronze breastplate. She had a regal presence that commands the attention of everyone around her. Morella was getting ready for her duty of being the queen. Ever since she had come back, she somehow managed to repair the damage done by her stupid husband Volcray Melremerk XXXII and Bitch of Adore Multi Melremerk, now renamed Trash and Bitch respectively. She sighed, the look for the shield hero has been missing ever since she had been looking for him. He was the reason why the country was not in ruin because of those two idiots, she sighed, which was when a soldier showed up. Soldier. Your Majesty, I have some good news. Morella looked at the soldier, she then responded. Morella. Go ahead. Soldier. The shield hero, he has been found, he is right now standing inside the castle as we speak, what should I do? Morella thought for a while and responded. Morella. Bring him to me, in my private chambers, I would like to have a word with him. Soldier. As you wish, your majesty. The soldier went to inform the shield hero and his party, meanwhile Naofumi was spending time with Melty, the second daughter of the queen, she was happy to meet the shield hero after a month of his disappearance, she then spoke. Melty. Where were you, Lord Shield Hero? Do you have any idea how we were looking for you? Naofumi cuts her off and pets her head, he then speaks. Naofumi. Yeah, I will tell you everything when we are with the queen. Melty pouts her face, while the soldier informs them. Soldier. The queen has requested your presence, you can meet her right now in her private quarters. Naofumi. Very well, lead the way. Soldier. I am just happy you are back, Sir Shield Hero. Naofumi nods and smiled at the soldier, he and the group then go to the private quarters where Morella was waiting for them. Morella. Welcome, Sir Shield Hero, first I am glad you are back and second may I know what happened to you and where were you? Naofumi. In that case, hope you are ready for a long story. The queen nodded in confirmation. Naofumi then explained everything from how he was sent to level 0, his journey to level 5, meeting Issei, John and Ruby, meeting Ingvild on level 7, facing many enemies, meeting Meg and Summer Rose, having a run-in with the Dark Metro, nearly losing his life which scared the two, going to level 6.1 to recover, heading to many enigmatic and undiscovered locations, facing the redacted Watcher, Issei beating him and finally going home. It took a decent 3 hours to finish the complete explanation, not that it mattered, given that they listened to everything intently. The queen then responded. Morella. So let me get this straight, you ended up in another dimension called the Backrooms not by your choice, met friends, fought enemies far tougher than the monsters here, fought against enemies that are potential gods, and finally faced against a godlike entity, did I summarize it correctly? Naofumi nodded, Morella sighed and responded. Morella. This is honestly too much for me to take, I don't mind believing this since you have come in a different world, but I am just happy that you are back. Morella smiled, she was happy that the shield hero, the only true hero was back. Naofumi then asked. Naofumi. I would like to know what happened when I was away, what did bitch do to Raphtalia and Philo when I was away? Morella and Melty looked at each other, they knew that this would come out at some time at the future. Morella then spoke. Morella. It happened 2 weeks after your disappearance, when they were walking Malty, sorry bitch and a few soldiers, who were still followers of the Three Heroes Church, and some that hated the shield hero attacked and ambushed both Raphtalia and Philo. They were gravely injured, she would have killed them, if it was not for the timely intervention of me. I had come in with a much greater force, and it was thanks to Melty that we were able to save them, you may confirm with them if you do not believe me. Raphtalia. Whatever the queen said is true, she even brought her best healers to heal the team up. Bitch was immediately taken away and imprisoned. When the spear hero questioned, he was told what had happened and accepted the punishment, same with the other heroes. He even removed bitch from his party, much to my surprise. Raphtalia stopped after that. Naofumi on the other hand was furious, he knew that enough is enough, he is ending this right here and now. Morella. I know you are angry, so that is why I give you the option. You are free to give her any punishment she wants, if you so desire, even death is applicable. Naofumi. But isn't she? Morella. Not anymore, she has crossed the line, her fate is in your hands, shield hero. Naofumi. Very well then, bring me to that bitch, I will deal with her myself, she will no longer hurt the people I care for, thankfully they are alive, but I will not take the risk by letting her life. Queen Morella. Very well, shield hero, let's go. Before going, Naofumi spoke. Naofumi. You guys can join us, but be warned this would be extremely gory and bloody, it would involve things not meant for the faint of heart, so you have been warned. I will not hold it against you if you guys do not show up. Melty, Raphtalia and Philo nodded. Raphtalia had earlier informed Melty that Naofumi wants to end this once and for all, which caused Melty to wonder what the shield hero meant. Now she knows what he meant, a part of her wanted to stay back, but she wanted to see her former sister get tormented. They then headed to the dungeon where Melty was chained. Her legs and arms were tied to prevent her from escaping. This was an attempt to prevent her from escaping, ever again. Malty was described to be a lovely girl with wavy semi-long crimson hair that is tied up in a ponytail, with chest-length hair strands hanging on either side, emerald green eyes, a pretty cute and youthful facial features. But for Naofumi, she was nothing but a waste of beauty. She looked at Naofumi with a shock and glare, she hated this man with everything she had, her life was ruined by him. But for Naofumi, she was nothing but a waste of beauty. She looked at Naofumi with a shock and glare, she hated this man with everything she had, her life was ruined by him. Naofumi. Hello bitch, normally I would say pleasure to meet ya, but I don't feel any pleasure or happiness in meeting you, although seeing you like this does put a smile to my face. Bitch. What do you want, devil? Naofumi. I know what you did to Raphtalia and Philo while I was absent, and that was the last straw, I spared you once, but that was a mistake, now time to end this. Bitch smiled. Even in her defeated state she was shameless, she then spoke. Bitch. End this, don't make me laugh, I will flee from here, I will make sure you and your friends suffer, no matter what happens you will never be able to kill me cause I am royalty. Naofumi then started laughing much to their confusion, but bitch was angry at this. Naofumi then spoke. Naofumi. Correction, we're royalty, you were stripped of your title, and you want to know how I will kill you. By this I will kill you. Naofumi then brought out a jar of absolute pain, it had a dark crimson shade and a thick appearance. Naofumi then brought out a jar of absolute pain, it had a dark crimson shade and a thick appearance. Naofumi then spoke. Naofumi. This is called absolute pain, the one of the stuff I picked up when I came here, I think you know by the name itself, what it is capable of. Naofumi then grabbed bitch's mouth and made her gulp the entire bottle of absolute pain. Given her weak body, she was barely able to resist him, it took less than a minute to start take effect, she will instantly feel like her head is being shot and hit by a hammer repeatedly. The pain was so immense and sharp that she wanted pass out or die on the spot thereafter consuming absolute pain. After her head started to hurt painfully, her eyes started to popping out of your skull, they will then begin to hang out of her eye sockets, then explode. She then began to vomit blood and her stomach and all of her internal organs had exploded, causing her charred organs to come out of her and her chest. Her heart had completely stopped and her brain will immediately start to shut down. Her head showed visible cracks on its surface and start to bleed. Melty had already passed out by seeing this, Raphtalia was horrified, and Philo closed her eyes. Morella kept a stoic face, but deep down, even she was horrified, but kept her calm somehow, but it was not done yet, after 5 minutes her head exploded, which made Philo pass out. Naofumi put an airstrike shield, which ended her life completely. After that all that remained was a charred and mutilated body with only thighs, forearms, and a neck remained. They did not bother to check what had happened next, they could only imagine her pain, which was a fate far worse than death itself. Morella. What the hell was that? Morella was clearly shaken by this, as hated as she was, she still could not process the brutality that had happened, Naofumi then explained. Naofumi. That is called absolute pain, one of the stuff I found back in the backrooms, it is highly corrosive and a deadly variant than any acid or corrosive material I found. It is dangerous enough to corrode through anything, and anyone that has had this has a fate far worse than death itself, that is why I used the entire jar, so that no one could ever use it again. Morella sighed in relief. This absolute pain is a pretty dangerous weapon if it had gotten into the wrong hands, she then told Morella. Alright, make me a promise, whatever happened here must not get out, no matter what. Naofumi. But what about her death? Morella. I will tell everyone that she died, they will not come to know how she died, now if you must, I need to excuse myself, I need some time alone, I am glad Melty did not see everything. Melty was unconscious, Morella then left the room to go into her room, to have some time alone to process everything. While Naofumi took Melty to his room, Raphtalia was traumatized but kept her calm, she wondered what happened in that dimension that made Naofumi so insensitive to blood and pain, but kept quiet. Naofumi consoled both her and Philo after everything, who cried after seeing the whole scene, since it was too traumatizing even for them, they were not crying because of bitch, but because of the scene that had happened with the absolute pain. After a while Morella informed the other three heroes and her husband of Bitch's death, needless to say the reactions were varied. While Itsuki and Ren knew she deserved death for what she had done, Motoyasu thought that death was kind of too much, but accepted nevertheless, she deserved this, and crossed the line when she hurt Raphtalia and Philo to the point of torture. Old Cray was a weeping mess, he now hated the shield hero with a burning passion, and wanted to take him down, but will never be able to do so, since he has nothing left in the aftermath. The next day, 9:30 am, Naofumi and the others headed to the village to see the progress. He was riding the carriage he had received from the queen. Naofumi controlled the carriage, as Raphtalia slept next to him, still under trauma for yesterday's events. They decided to move to the village and recover for a while and train to become stronger, until a new threat shows up. Scene break. Epilogue 2, Jerry and Hines. Story of a true hero. In the backrooms, the promised land, 12:30 p.m. Sonya lies by Cage's side, since she knew that Summer, the one that was her best friend for years, has finally gone back home. She knew that this would happen one day but was not ready. That is when the Crimson Wanderer spoke. Crimson Wanderer. My time to leave has come, it was an honor to fight by your side, Sir Hines, Jerry. Hines responded with a smile. Hines. Yeah, I am happy that this thing is finally over, now our lives can be much better than before, given that the redacted watcher has been defeated and has been freed, it was an honor to meet you and fight by your side, Crimson Wanderer. Both the Crimson Wanderer and Hines shake hands, after which the Crimson Wanderer walks by the exit and no clips out of reality. In the aftermath the backrooms will be a much better place to live in, the mark left by the redacted watcher may still have left his mark, the damage was done, but at the very least, people may have a better chance at surviving this area. Hines. So what now, what to do next? Dr. Charles. We can do a lot of projects, I was barely able to work on anything, especially with the watcher on my back, I wanted to get out of here, if possible to the real world, but that was not gonna happen, he found out and imprisoned me as well, but thanks to Issei and his group I have been freed, and the watcher was freed from his curse that the god put on him. Hines. Yup, that's the best part, we can finally live our lives in peace, and I can meet my brother after so long. Dr. Charles. Yeah, let's then go to level 1009 to meet him. So Miss Blade, what are you going to do now? Sonya. Settle in for the time being, the duties of MEG have been reduced so I can relax for a while, after all this is finally over. Johnny. I could not agree anymore, so what now? Sonya. Most of us will settle in, we will still fulfill our duties as MEG local directors, but we can live our lives normally, as for now, let us all return. Hines. Yep, speaking of which Jerry, what will you do right now? Jerry. I will go back to my followers, I have been missing for so long, I just hope they have not gone ballistic. Sonya. Yeah, I also think you should do that, they often cause a lot of property destruction in your name. Gary sweat drops and responds. Jerry. Yeah, anyways I am going, I will only turn those that approach me with malicious intentions into my followers, aside from that I will leave an innocent one alone. Sonya. Alright then, you can now go. Jerry. Very well, bye guys. Gary then no clips out of reality just like the Crimson Wanderer, Roman then speaks. Roman. I think we should also head back, give the others the news that the level 3999 is safe to live in. Sonya. Fair enough, let's go Roman. Jax. And I will head back to level 1 to see how the base is going on. What about you Cage? Johnny. I will stay back in level 11 if that is alright. Jax sighs and responds. Jax. Fine, but you better come back soon, I ain't gonna do your work. Johnny nods, he knew that he needed to make it quick. They then head back to their levels, which being level 1, level 11 and level 33. Scene change. Infinite Library, 2:30 p.m. The Crimson Wanderer was heading to level 230, also known as the Infinite Library. He wanted to meet an old friend he saw around the level, which seemed to be an indefinite amount of books. The Wanderer wanted to meet him, at the very least till he rests for a while. He looked around the gigantic maze-like sector of indefinite size. The place expands endlessly, with rooms of varying size, each containing their own bookshelves. The level consists of many buildings interconnected by corridors, hallways, bridges, platforms, staircases, gates and other structures. The scale of the buildings seems to differ from one to another, varying from dozens to hundreds of floors. Some rooms have lamps, candles, and even windows to illuminate the place, but each of the windows displays different scenes. The windows behave just like computer screens. The Crimson Wanderer then heard a voice, which belonged to his old friend. Welcome back, the Crimson Wanderer, so what brings you here, my old friend? The Crimson Wanderer. It's been a while since we have met, right storyteller? The storyteller was described to be a psychic entity that is able to manipulate memory and information. It is a master of illusion, possessing countless anomalous capabilities. Its primary power is its ability to rewrite or manipulate reality to a limited degree. This is mainly done through the media of and its books. He was described to be an entity made out of some unnamed material and had many fringes on him. His back had multiple stands which looked to have wings. He had a one eye at the center. He seemed to be intimidating, but he was known to be one of the most knowledgeable entities out there. Storyteller. Indeed it has been old friend, so what is it you want to know? Storyteller. Indeed it has been old friend, so what is it you want to know? The Crimson Wanderer. I take it you know what has happened so far, right? Storyteller. Ah, you mean the redacted Watcher's demise. He has finally been freed from his curse, huh? The Crimson Wanderer. Yes, Issei seems to be the one to have put him out of his misery. Storyteller. Ah, you mean the dragon child. He seemed to be pretty strong for his age. He was not only able to survive the redacted Watcher's attacks, but also managed to have many friends, befriended the Skeleton Queen, and had many other people that cared and helped him to take him down including you, and even earned the respect to many people, including yours. The Crimson Wanderer. So what is your opinion on him? Storyteller. He is a unique existence, a shame that I could not meet him in the future. He is also powerful in my opinion. If he could survive the redacted Watcher, then he could handle someone like me. Despite everything, I still see him as a true hero, the hero of the Backrooms. In fact, I am thinking of writing on a story based on him. What do you think, old friend? The Crimson Wanderer. I think you should. He would not mind reading a book based on his journeys. Storyteller chuckled and responded. Storyteller. Indeed, I think I will call it Issei's DxD adventure. Into the Backrooms. What do you think? The Crimson Wanderer. That does not sound bad, but I think you should choose a different name. Storyteller sighed and said. Storyteller. You never appreciate my naming scheme, since you never do agree. What do you suggest? The Crimson Wanderer. I think the name the heroic red dragon of the Backroom sounds good. What do you think? Storyteller thinks for a while and speaks. Storyteller. I think it sounds good, so that is the story I will be busy with. So are you going to leave now? The Crimson Wanderer. Yeah, need to fix my armor. The battle against him took a lot out of me. Thank you for coming, Storyteller. Storyteller. Very well then, old friend, see you later. The Storyteller then leaves, with the Crimson Wanderer going back to a safe area to repair his armor. He needed to do it so that nobody can see him, since he might end up attacking an innocent victim. He was happy that he could finally have some peace. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi. Storyteller doing paperwork and actually enjoying it. Level 1009, 3:30 p.m. Hines and Dr. Charles had headed back to level 1009, where the Bernadette family lived, the second most powerful family in MEG, and the right-hand man of the first, who is the founder and the de facto leader of MEG. He saw his brother after a really long time, where Hines called out. Hines. Big brother. The man looked around to see his brother for so long, he then spoke. Hines, is that you? Hines. Yup, it's your little brother Hines, big brother Leslie. Leslie was happy that his brother was alive and well. He immediately embraced him after meeting for so long. He had made a top priority search of this man, and today he had come back to him again. Leslie. Where have you been, brother? Do you know how long all of us have been looking for you? Hines responded. Hines, I know, I left to find a friend, and I had finally found him. May I introduce you, Dr. Charles? Dr. Charles. It is an honor to finally meet you in person, Impresario G. I finally managed to get myself out of level redacted. Leslie was surprised, he then spoke. Leslie? Isn't it the same level that no one has ever been able to get out of? How did you two get out of here? Hines. Come brother, I will explain everything. Heinz explained everything from his journeys. He also met Leslie's wife Anna and his son Leslie too. He told about him meeting Issei on level 92233720368547757807 and the journey with him throughout. Leslie was surprised. He wanted to thank the boy. He then asked, "Leslie, where is this Issei kid? I personally want to thank him." Heinz. He went back to his home, back in Kuo of Japan. Leslie. Man, I wanted to thank that kid. He brought my brother back to me. Heinz. Who knows, he might come back. But for now let us enjoy it together. I would love to spend time with my sister-in-law and nephew. Leslie. Indeed brother, indeed. Leslie and Dr. Charles spent time with the Bernadette family, and it was a good one. They enjoyed the night until they went to sleep. Heinz then decided to stay in level 1009 for the rest of his life, only visiting level 11 when Sonia or his friends ever needed him. Scene change. Level 11, 4:30 p.m. Roman was seen informing the others about the situation. He was helped by Johnny Cage. Given his experience under the spotlight, needless to say people were saddened that they could no longer go by level 3999 for a short amount of time. But Johnny assured them that they would be fine, the doors would be fixed in no time, and they would be seeing their families after that. Level 11 being the infinite city it was able to host so many people at once without any issues. Roman. Please don't make me do speeches like this, I am not good at them. Sonia cheered him up and encouraged him by saying, Sonia. You were good Roman, this is what I think your 5th day at work, and you have been showing staggering progress, you will be better in no time. Roman. Fine, but I think I should stick to saving people, I am good at that job. Sonia nodded and smiled. Johnny responded, Johnny. And even then you still showed some amazing tactics in saving people, as well as creative ways in taking down entities, including that shot to that partygoer's nuts. I enjoyed that the most. Roman. Oh yeah, that was my best shot, that's what the streets do to ya. Anyways, I hope Neo is doing fine back home. Johnny. I think John will show her the tape which you gave him, and who knows, one day she might even come here and stay with you. Roman smiled, after which Sonia spoke. Sonia. Well, that's it for the patrol, I guess you should go home and rest, these 2 days were certainly eventful. Roman. Yeah, those nightmares are finally gone, and now I can sleep knowing that he will not bother me ever again. Sonia nodded, after which Roman decided to go back to his hotel room, which was located in Homely Hotel, the same place where Issei and his group once stayed. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi. Roman learning Chibi Johnny's signature move and tripping constantly. Level 11, 9:30 p.m. Sonia. Alright, that's done now, I wonder what is remaining. Johnny. This. Johnny gives her the pendant which was given to her on her first date. She then spoke. Sonia. Thanks Johnny. Johnny. Always happy to help anyways, what's the plan? Sonia. Now that everything has been a bit better, I was thinking. Sonia grabs Johnny by his shirt and speaks. Sonia. How about we take our relationship to the next level? Johnny smiled and commented. Johnny. I never thought you were bold Sonia. Sonia. So shall we do it? Johnny. Oh you bet Sonia, we will have the best night ever of our lives, let's go to the bed, shall we? Sonia nodded and smiled. Johnny then carried her in a bridal manner, making the blade blush. They then took to the bed and had the best night of the life. Sounds of ecstasy and pleasure could be heard in the room, since it was a private quarters. And photo could be seen on the table showing her, Johnny, Jax, Roman, Issei, John, Summer, Ruby, Naofumi, Rex, Jerry, Ingvild, Heinz, the Crimson Wanderer and Dr. Charles, all smiling together as a group of friends. Scene change. Meanwhile back in level 1, Jax sees Johnny's text which he had sent to him earlier. He sighed and spoke. Jax. Well, only one thing left to do now. Jax grabs a saxophone and starts to play it. Jax then stops and decided to watch some TV and enjoy some snacks. Since there is no Johnny to bother him at least for the whole night, he decided to enjoy himself for the night. He had purchased some snacks back at level 6.1 and he was gonna spend the night playing games and watching movies and anime all night. Scene break. Epilogue 3, Issei and Ingvild, reunions and ending a rivalry. Issei then was in a trance where he saw nothing but a white space. He then saw a very familiar man standing in front of him. He then recognized him as the First, the founder and the de facto of MEG. The First. Hello young Issei. Issei. It's been a while, the First. The First. Yeah, so looks like your journey is at its end, huh, Issei? Issei. Yeah, thanks for helping me throughout. The First. I am glad I could help you kid, I saw your journey by your memories, although I am saddened that my teleportation ability was not under use. You made a lot of friends in your journey, gained the respect of many people, gained the friendship of entities like the Skeleton Queen and the Crimson Wanderer, found people who would live and die for you. I am happy to have met someone like you. Anyways, there is something I would give you, think of it as a return gift. Issei. Wow, I am grateful. The First. The First smiled and then kept his hand on Issei's shoulder. He then felt a surge of power, after which died after a while. The First then spoke. The First. Remember your teleportation ability, now there is no cooldown, you can now teleport to any level you have marked at any time you want, consider this a thank you for freeing the Watcher and helping so many people on the way. I know you did not do this alone, but you led them and did most of the work and I am happy you gave your friends a new hope and gave them happiness they could possibly not imagined. Anyways, we have talked a lot, if I stay here, Belle and Drake would notice, well see you, later kid. Issei. Yeah, goodbye for now. The first nodded and smiled, he then waved to Issei, after which Issei's sight completely whitened and he saw that he was back in Kuo Town. He was seen next to his friends. Issei. Well, this is where I was born guys, welcome to Kuo Town, guys. John, Ruby, Rex and Summer looked around to see that they were in a Japanese town, which seemed to be awfully similar to Kuroyuri, a town that was destroyed due to Grim. Summer. It looks similar to one of the towns I visited during my time as a huntress. John. I think this town looks similar to where Ran and Nora used to live until its destruction. Long story, although the houses are different than the ones they have told us about. Issei. Wow, he certainly did have an interesting past. I think I know why he hates you. Now John. But it is just a theory, he doesn't have parents, right? John. Yeah, go ahead. Issei. I think your inaptitude for combat or combat experience in general caused him to hate you. He believed that you could have gotten him or his partner Nora killed. I think since his town was destroyed, he lost his parents and he does not want to have her killed. As well as for Nora, well, she is complicated. John. I see, maybe those beatings were too much for me to realize, since all I heard was faker or you don't deserve to be here, and many more insults he did tell me about Nora dying after attacking and tormenting me. Anyways, he does come here and wants forgiveness. I am not gonna do that. Ruby holds his hand on John, while Issei says, Issei. Alright, your choice anyways, let's forget about him. Does anyone want to go to my house to meet my family? Summer. That would be good, I would love to meet them. Ruby. Me too, especially that Azazel guy. Ingvild. I want to meet your parents and get their approval. John. Yeah, I think so too, I wanted to meet everyone including Azazel. Issei. Great, then let's go. Issei heads to his house, which was a model house with large 6-story house with 3 large basements. Everyone minus Issei was shocked to see Issei live in a large house. Issei then spoke. Issei. Welcome everyone to the Haidu residence. Ingvild. Is this where you live? Issei. Yup, welcome to my home. Now I wonder if they are there at home. John. This is bigger than my former house in Arcadia. Ruby. I hope there is lots of cookies. Summer. Now Ruby, first we will meet the others and then cookies, okay. Ruby. All okay, Moon. Summer smiled, that is when Issei saw that Asia was cutting the grass in the lawn, she then spoke. Asia. Well, that's done, I wonder what the others are doing. Oh. Issei chuckled at his foster sister's antics, he then decided to reveal his presence to her. Issei. Asia. Asia looked at the direction from where the voice came from, where she saw 5 figures, a blonde man whom she recognized as John, a Rose girl with red and black hair who was Ruby Rose, an older looking version of her as Summer Rose, a purple haired girl named Ingvild, Issei's girlfriend, and a doll looking entity who was Rex, and finally the one he was on, Issei Haidu, the brown haired man that had given her everything she could have desired, a loving family, friends, you name it. Asia had tears in her eyes, seeing the brown-haired boy once again, who was smiling goofily at the rest. She immediately jumped on him, crying endlessly on him. Issei consoled her, she then spoke. Asia. Issei, see, I missed you, I am so sorry. Why? Asia kept crying. That was when someone else came out. She was a orange pigtailed girl. She was Irina Shidu, Issei's childhood friend. She then spoke. Irina. Asia, I heard you crying. And Irina looks at Issei, tears in her eyes as well. She immediately called out. Irina. Guys, come, someone is here to see you guys. Irina jumped on Issei, she also was crying when she saw the brunettes after such a long time. She thought that he would be gone forever, but here he is, alive and well. Issei consoled his childhood friend, after which the rest of the group came as well, which included the Rias and her peerage, obviously minus Asia and Issei, Ravel Phoenix, and his parents. They were all happy that he was back, alive and well. They all jumped on him, crying. Issei fell because of the impact itself. So many people jumped on him at once, they all missed him. Despite everything, he was back with them. Issei. Issei senpai, comrade, my friend, big brother, son, my baby boy. Issei. Hey, I missed you all, now can I get up? I have got a lot to share. They all stayed for a while crying on him, minus the men, who controlled their tears. Issei decided to wait for a while, the others waited as his family was with him. They all had a smile on their face, happy to see their loved one brother comrade son back with them. Mickey. My baby boy, where were you? Why did you take so long? Issei. That's why I said, let's go inside, I have a lot to share. Bring Azazel sensei and big brother Surziches and Grafia as well. Rias. Yeah, I will call them, give me a while. They all go inside, with John and the group waiting for a while. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi Rias and Chibi Ingvild having a tug-of-war match with Chibi Issei being the rope. It took a while for Azazel, Surziches and Grafia to appear when they realized the reason they were called the men controlled the tears. However, Grafia was not like that. The stoic maid broke her normal stoic nature and immediately rushed to the brown boy embracing him. Issei's face fell straight on her breasts, which he blushed on. This caused all the girls to be jealous, especially Ingvild. Issei could feel them at a mile away, and he knew that he would have a long day. Surziches did not stop Grafia, as she viewed Issei as a little brother, especially after her own brother mysteriously disappeared after the Devil Civil War, but now should have stopped her, as the jealousy aura was intimidating even to him. John hid behind Ruby, as the poor guy was unable to handle them, while Ruby sweat dropped at this. Rax clutched Summer tightly out of fear, which the older Rose did not mind at all. Issei. Gee, Grafia, I cannot breathe. Grafia, on noticing this, released him. She then spoke. Grafia. What happened? I say. It was rare for the normally stoic maid to break her facade and show her true emotions, which she only did for those close to her, the Gremory family, her birth family and Issei, who was like a little brother to her. Speaking of which, Azazel also kept his hand on his head, happy that he was back with them. He then told Azazel. I am happy that you are back, kiddo. Azazel said in a somber tone, viewed Issei as a surrogate son. Issei then spoke. Issei. Come, I have a long story to tell, I hope you are ready. Issei then told everything on how he ended up here, walking through the isolated level 0, the underground city of level 1, the piplines of level 2, where he met John, Ruby and Rex, heading to level fun, going to level 3, then the office at level 4, and then the hotel of level 5 where he met Nafumi. After that the complete darkness of level 6, which made none of them able to see anything. Heading to the endless ocean of level 7, meeting the love of his life Ingvild Leviathan, making Ingvild blush and the other girls jealous, but they kept it in. After that they entered the level 8, where they met none other than Raynare and her group, which shocked everyone, especially Asia, Rias and Azazel. Asia. Lady Raynare is alive. Asia was under panic, while Arena calmed her down. Issei then responded. Issei. Yep. Rias. But how? Though I killed them. Issei. They know clipped into the backrooms and I met them in level 8. Mickey. Is Raynare this girl who betrayed and killed you? Issei. Yep. Mickey gritted her teeth. On seeing her anger, her husband calmed her down. Issei then continued. Issei. But worry not, this time she was gone for good. Bekeno. What happened? Issei. She was eaten by a horde of hounds and skin stealers. It was horrifying to say the least. I did not save her and I am sorry for that. Azazel. Do not apologize, she brought that on herself. She should have stayed dead, although dying by a horde of them was brutal to say the least. Issei. Anyways, let me continue. Issei then headed to level and ran for his life, entered the dark suburbs of level 9, where he met the Crimson Wanderer and unlocked the Cardinal Crimson promotion, making everyone proud of him. He then headed to level 11, where he was trained to become even be better and met Summer Rose, after which then they visited the Dark Metro where they faced a cult. Headed to level 6.1, making Kaneko wanting to visit the level as well, along with the others agreeing to her desire. They then head to the last office level, and the true final level, shocking Azazel, as he knew those levels were too hard to pronounce, too hard to reach, and finally too hard to get across, where they met Heinz Bernadette. After which they visited the end level and finally them visiting level 3999, where everyone got a different quest to say the least, them getting attacked by the redacted watcher, him kidnapping Ruby, and they then journey through the soul air and finally confront and defeat the redacted watcher, after which they visit the promised land and came home. Azazel. Wow, that was quite a journey. I am happy that all of you are safe and sound. Surziches. I agree, that was an amazing journey. Issei, not only you became strong, you also met such friends. Speaking of which, why don't you introduce them to us? I know we know you, but let us know more about you. Issei. Go ahead guys, introduce yourself. Ruby was the first to introduce herself. Ruby. My name is Ruby Rose, so when we will go to Grigori, Azazel-sensei. Azazel was taken aback by her enthusiasm. It was definitely quite a lot. He was happy though. She was as interested as he is in weapons and sacred gears. Summer then spoke. Summer. Ruby. Ruby. Sorry mom. Summer. I apologize for her behavior. Azazel. And no, it's alright, Miss Rose. Summer. Anyways, I am Summer Rose, Ruby's mother. I was also a scientist myself, but before that I was a huntsman. Mickey, thank you for looking after my son, Miss Rose. Summer. Oh, you can call me, Summer, Mrs. Haidu, and it was a pleasure to look after him. Mickey. Very well, then. Issei smiled as he knew that his mother and Summer would get along very well, just like she and Sonia did. Boru, I hope he did not do anything perverted, Miss Rose. Issei. Dad. Summer. Oh, not at all, he lead us outside to our homes. If it was not for him, many of us would either be dead or be still stuck in the backrooms. John. I could not agree anymore, I would have been dead and same would have been with Ruby. Anyways, my name is John Ark, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. Issei. I am glad you did not try to make that comeback line of yours. John. Yeah, I learned my lesson a long time ago. Boru. Anyways, sorry for doubting you son, I should have believed them that you have changed. Issei. It's alright dad, I have become better anyways. Ingvild, introduce yourself. Ingvild. My name is Ingvild Leviathan and I am dating your son, Mrs. Haidu. Issei. That was bold, Haim. Ingvild blushed while all the girls were burning with jealousy, except Akeno who for some reason was smiling. Issei flinched at this, and sweat dropped. His life was back, his harem life was back, he was happy and fearful at the same time, it was certainly gonna be interesting at the same time. Mickey. Oh, so you are the one that is dating my son. Ingvild flinched, Mickey's tone was questioning and intimidating. Issei wondered what is going on in his mother's mind, she then suddenly smiled, and this caught everyone off guard. Mickey. Oh, I am so happy that my boy got a girlfriend, it is a pleasure to meet you Ingvild, and you may call me mom, if it makes you feel better. Issei blushed, his mom certainly knows how to make things interesting. Goru then chimed in. Boru. I thought that Issei would be forever single because of his perverted nature, but not only is that gone, he has gotten a fine woman as his girlfriend. I am proud of you my boy. Issei. Dodd. Issei and Ingvild were a blushing mess. Meanwhile with girls, Rias. Knew I wanted to be his girlfriend first. Rias was pretty sad by the fact that she had lost her chance. Akeno and Asia then cheered her up. Akeno. You can still be second in position, we cannot give up. Ingvild might be the alpha, but you can still win him, you cannot give up. Asia. I agree, we might have a chance. Rias. You're right, if he still wants to be a harem king, we might have a chance. Irina. There is still a shot we can do this. Zenobia. Agreed, we might have a chance. Rias. You girls are right, we cannot lose hope, not yet at least. Scene change. Meanwhile with Issei and the rest. Ingvild. I am happy that you accepted me. Everyone smiled that Ingvild was accepted into the family. The girls were also jealous, were also happy that she was accepted into the family. Azazel then asked. Azazel. When we met you, you did not have a last name, how did you get it back? John sighed, he knew this would come. Issei and Ruby kept their hands on him, knowing that they are with him. John. I will tell you everything. John then explained everything to his grandfather when he was a child. He wanted to be a hero like him, but was not allowed by his own parents. They saw him as a means to move ahead with their name. Most of sisters bullied him for his weakness, minus Saffron and her wife Tara, which did not surprise many people, given that LGBTQ couples existed in here as well. Most of his abilities were self-taught, and it did not help the fact that his own family minus Saffron and Tara and his grandparents used to prevent him from achieving his goals. After that he stole the family's heirloom, the Cressera Moors, and left his home, forged documents, given that the boy never went to combat school or trained him in fighting. Despite this he still managed to get through initiation, despite several others failing to do so, even with experienced combat training, failed to get in. That's where he met Ruby for the very first time, and she along with a few others were his only true friends. Everything was going well for him until the partner he had trusted betrayed him. She hated what he had done and abandoned him without a second thought. After that his bully Cardin Winchester used his transcripts and made him do many things. However, after saving him from the Ursa, he exposed his transcripts, and with Pura, his former partner helping that man, they both ruined his lives. Everyone in Beacon had turned on him, minus the ones he mentioned. After that they beat and tortured him to near death, and one of them was Yang herself. She and Ruby's team tormented and beat him to near death. After that his parents got word and disowned him, but then they tried to do something which completely shocked him. Adding insult to injury, his father tried to seal his aura and semblance. He always saw his son as a weakling and only cared about the Ark name, since he assumed John disgraced the Ark name. The whole group was livid, but none were more furious than Mickey, Goru, Surziches, Grafia, Rias, Akeno, Kaneko, Kiba, Asia and Azazel. Mickey, Goru, Surziches and Grafia were livid by the way his parents treated him like he was a nobody. Surziches and Rias were reminded that was how Lord Bale treated Sayerg when he was treated like worse than scum, when he did not inherit the power of destruction, and they were livid at this, given the Gremory clan treats their friends and servants like family. Kaneko and Kiba hated that his own friends abandoned him like nothing as they were also abandoned by someone during their lives. Same was with Asia as she was kicked out just because she healed a devil, and finally Azazel who would never do that to Vali, as his parents reminded him of Vali's own grandparents and parents on how they treated him. Azazel. I am sorry for asking you that John. John. Not a problem, Teach, I am over that, they were never my friends or family, at least not my true friends and family. Surziches. This is just wrong, parents are supposed to look after and nurture their child, not harm them, they are disgraces to not only their clan, but also to being parents. Boru. I could not agree anymore. I mean sure getting angry is understandable to that extent, but I would never disown the kid. I cannot imagine disowning my own son. Mickey. Me too, I would trash them if I were here. Rafia. Me too. Summer. Me 3. Everyone backed away as the trio knew that there would be hell if they came here right now. They did not want to mess with them, especially with Summer and Grafia, as many had a first-hand experience at what happens when you anger them. After that they sensed a familiar aura. Azazel and Issei were the first to recognize him. Azazel. Volley. Issei. What is he doing here? Azazel. He probably wants to challenge you. After your month of disappearance, he must have sensed your presence, and this would be a deathmatch if things were to go his way. Issei. In that case, let's go, it would be a shame to keep him waiting. Mickey. Just stay safe, alright. Issei. Don't worry mom, I am not going to go down that easily. Issei then walked out. He then saw Volley had activated his divine dividing and was flying in front him with a grin on his face. Issei then walked out. He then saw Volley had activated his divine dividing and was flying in front him with a grin on his face. Issei. Hope I did not keep you waiting, Volley. Volley nodded and responded looking down on his rival. He then spoke. Volley. Yeah you did, you literally went into another dimension for no reason, you better not disappoint me. Issei. Hey, in my defense, I did not go there by choice. Volley. Enough talk, let's do this. Welsh Dragon Balance Break. Vanishing Dragon Balance Break. Both were in their balance breaker armor and ready to fight. Surziches made a different dimension so that they could fight peacefully. Everyone saw the fight including Issei's new friends. Ruby wanted to check his sacred gear but was stopped by Azazel. He told her that he was not a good guy. As for Volley and Issei, they both were radiating a dangerous amount of aura, enough to make anyone that was under high class flinch. John was forced into his armor just to handle it, however he dispelled it once Surziches created a barrier. He then put everyone under it. That was when Volley and Issei clashed. This time there was no holding back. Issei then spoke. Issei. You ready for our final fight, Volley? Volley. Ready. I have been waiting for our destined battle, this time I will not hold back. Ingvild. Ice, defeat him, I know you can do it. Ingvild cheered for Issei, while Rias responded in annoyance. Rias. Hey, I wanted to do that. Ingvild. Sorry, Rias, first come first serve, he is my boyfriend, so I will be the one to cheer for him. Rias tried to argue but kept quiet. She knew that Ingvild is the first and she must try to reach second. And she will be his second no matter what happens. Others only sighed at this, they knew that this was gonna happen sooner or later. Ruby then spoke. Ruby. Another cat fight. John. Well, get used to it, Ruby, it happens in harems, although I wonder how does Issei handle this, like how does he have the stamina and tenacity. Ruby. Worry about that for later, let's watch the fight. John nodded, even he wanted to see their destined battle and who will be victorious. After several punches and kicks that were delivered, Boost and Divide were heard everywhere as they were destroying their surroundings with their power. Issei also was able to keep up with Volley, as both were destroying everything with ease. After several punches and kicks that were delivered, Boost and Divide were heard everywhere as they were destroying their surroundings with their power. Issei also was able to keep up with Volley, as both were destroying everything with ease. They then unleashed their energy blasts at each other, as the aura and attacks itself made a massive amount of wind that was aimed everywhere. Diva. This power. Rias. Even I am handling difficulty handling this, he has become really strong. Kaneko. This is dangerous. Surziches. I think this power is on high class alone, and that is not even Issei's strongest ability. Rias. What do you mean? Azazel. Just wait and watch, Rias, he has not even entered his full potential. John. Yup, that is not even 50% of his power, he has faced entities that will make Volley even struggle. Arena. How strong are you talking about? Ruby. God-level entities, or at least that was what we were told, entities that are capable of being far stronger. They are able to destroy Issei's balance breaker like it was nothing. This shocked everyone. Destroying balance breaker like it was nothing was a feat only ultimate class devils and above were capable of. This is new for everyone. Wherever Issei went made him not only stronger but more resilient. As for Issei, he was keeping up with Volley without any issue. He then spoke. Issei. Since you have been keeping up with me, I think I shall show you how strong have I become. Volley only laughed. He then responded. Volley. Then what are you waiting for? Issei. Alright then, summon. Dragon release. In a flash of reddish-green light, Drake was released from the boosted gear. The boosted gear had transformed into its 2.0 version, shocking everyone. They knew about this, but never have seen it person. Azazel had seen Drake in this form last during the Great War, and he along with Albion, nearly decimated everyone. As for Volley, he was in utter shock, but who was the most shocked was Albion. His rival had been released into the real world. Drake then spoke with pride. Drake. Finally I can breathe normal air in this world, so Albion, it's a shame you are still stuck in a gear. Issei. Alright Volley, since you asked for it, it's time that I go double down. Albion. B but how the hell did you get out of here? Greg. You can thank my partner and MEG for that, the technology at MEG is amazing, that's how I was able to get out, although this body is not mine, it belongs to a Welsh dragon from level 1275 in the backrooms, he had asked to use the body in his dying breath and give it to someone worthy, and I was deemed worthy. My partner took a lot of pain to let me out of the real world and to experience this air, but slowly this is becoming like my original body, it is just a matter of time that I regain my prime form, my true strength. Albion was gobsmacked, same went for Volley, as for the others, they looked at Issei in a new light, he took this much pain for his partner, the only ones that were not surprised were Summer, Ruby, John, Ingvild and Rex, they knew about this a long time ago, they could only be more happy that Drake got such a benevolent and amazing host, and the orc were happy that they had a selfless comrade big brother lover. Issei. Drake, ready to take your rival down. Greg. You bet partner, let's show the white one who is the strongest. Issei and Drake both ganged up on him, Volley used half dimension on Drake stalling him, however the strain was too much on him, allowing Issei to go after him, he pummeled him endlessly, he was forced to use his juggernaut drive to keep up with these two, he then began the chant. I, who am about to awaken am the heavenly dragon who has taken the principles of supremacy from Godi envy the infinite and I pursue the dream I shall become the white dragon of supremacy and I shall take you to the limits of white paradise. Juggernaut drive. Volley entered his juggernaut drive, he knew that he could not use it for much longer, he had been working on an alternative on his juggernaut drive, but it was still unstable given his current power, but he was pretty close to mastering it, he decided. Volley entered his juggernaut drive, he knew that he could not use it for much longer, he had been working on an alternative on his juggernaut drive, but it was still unstable given his current power, but he was pretty close to mastering it, he decided to call it Imperio Juggernaut Drive. He started to barely able to keep up with the duo, despite this Drake and Issei was too strong, and they were not even going all out, Bell then spoke telepathically. Bell. I wish I could join the fight. Issei. I think you might, but I and Drake got this, knowing him, he might push me somehow. Issei continued to put pressure on Volley as he was able to keep up with both Issei and Volley. Eventually Volley was able to push Volley back, with well-timed divides as well. Drake used Welsh Dragon Flare on the Emperor, starting to destroy the Juggernaut Drive, making him scream in pain. Volley then spoke. Volley. Is that all you have got? Maybe I should go after that Leviathan girl and your parents to make you an Avenger. Volley tried to taunt Issei, to weaken him, however this instead only made Issei angry. Issei. Repeat that again, Lucifer. Issei was holding himself back from snapping, even Drake was getting angry, Belle was ready to get out to unleash her wrath as well, Issei then spoke. Issei. Take that back, don't make me do this. Volley. Oh, looks like I hit a nerve, maybe I should kill your friends and family and Volley was not able to continue as a dangerous amount of aura was released onto the battlefield. Surziches enhanced his shield, he made it into Satan class, he knew that Issei is upper ultimate class right now, even without Drake, the upgrade to the boosted gear made him really powerful. He then spoke. Issei. Summon. Skeleton Queen release. This time however a female voice came out from the gear, a large humanoid skeleton showed up in front of them this time surprising everyone. Belle. Ah, so this is your world, so you are the one that is gonna hurt Issei's family. Volley. Yeah, and who are you? Belle. You may call me Belle, the sole inhabitant of level 32, the Skeleton Queen, it is a pleasure to meet you. Issei. And now no holding back. Issei began the chant for Cardinal Crimson promotion. Issei. I, who is about to awaken, am the Red Dragon Emperor who has discarded the principles of domination. I shall walk the road of righteousness by having infinite hopes and dreams. I shall become the king of Crimson Dragon, and I promise you all. I shall show you the future which shines in true crimson light. Cardinal Crimson promotion. Azazel immediately recognized Belle, she was the Skeleton Queen, he was proud that Issei befriended her of all people, since she was considered to be extremely unpredictable to anyone that came to her level, that being level 32, that combined with Issei's new form, which was considered to be the alternate for Juggernaut Drive, his power level has reached to that of mid-Satan level, and combined with the other two, he could only imagine how strong he could be. Azazel could only say one thing. Azazel. Volley has fucked up, big time. Surziches. I could not agree anymore, I just hope Issei does not kill him. Rias and her group could only imagine that the damage the trio could do if anyone angered them. As for Volley, he was under immense fear, he never felt like this before in his life. Issei then spoke. Issei. Alright Volley, you asked for this, it's time to go full triple down on your ass. Volley had no choice, the strain on his Juggernaut Drive was starting to take toll, he was starting to lose his power, even if he did manage to somehow use his Imperio Juggernaut Drive against him, it would not be enough, they would still manage to take him down. The trio looked at each other and they began their beatdown. Both Bell and Drake used their strongest attacks to damage him. They started to damage him. Volley countered it by using his long Ina smasher, which did significant damage to Bell, but Drake negated the damage with his own attack. Drake. Bell, are you okay? Bell. I am fine, I have handled worse. Issei. Let's end this. Boost 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 boost. Fang blast booster. Crimson blaster. The reddish-green beam was fired onto Volley as he struggled. He screamed in pain as the armor was starting to get destroyed with ease. He then saw that he was forcefully taken out of his juggernaut drive by Albion. He continued to scream as the beam continued to push through him. The reddish-green beam was fired onto Volley as he struggled. He screamed in pain as the armor was starting to get destroyed with ease. He then saw that he was forcefully taken out of his juggernaut drive by Albion. He continued to scream as the beam. I do not own this gift for Dragon Ball Super. Volley. Aya. The beam dissipated and dust settled, revealing a bruised and bloodied Volley. He was still alive however, despite the damage to his body. He was on the ground groaning in pain. Belle decided to stay here for a while, which did surprise Drake given her reserved nature. Issei then approached Volley, who was looking at him in pure surprise. He was gone for almost a month and now has become stronger than before. Issei then summoned Ascalon and approached Volley with a blade in his hand. Azazel on seeing this tried to rush, however John and Summer told him something that made him stop. He then approached Volley and used his sword and aimed at his head. Volley. So this is how I die, huh? Sorry Albion, I could not defeat your rival. Albion. You should not have taunted him anyway, it was good being your partner. Volley closed his eyes. He accepted his fate however. Issei had stabbed the ground next to his head, shocking everyone. Hearing the sound of the stab, but noticed that his life is still intact, Volley looked at the side, where he saw Ascalon right next to him, shocking the Lucifer descendant. Issei spared his life, the White Dragon Emperor, his rival, the one that threatened his family. Issei. I am not so cruel to kill someone like you, but know this, if you threaten the people I care about, you might not be so lucky. Volley got up, he was barely able to walk. He then asked, Volley. Why? Why did you spare me? Issei. Cause I am ending this rivalry once and for all. This has gone long enough. What do you think, Drake? Drake. I agree, sorry Albion, I prefer living rather than watching my hosts die over and over again being drunk with power. Drake roared in agreement, shocking everyone. Albion then responded, Albion. Why do you want to end this? Why now? Drake. In my adventures, I have seen things you would not believe have existed, things that would make you question reality itself. Albion was speechless. Drake then spoke. Drake. I have seen many worlds, many levels, enjoyed many things in my journey, which made me realize how pointless this rivalry was, how many lives it has claimed. I am grateful towards my partner for letting me experience freedom, despite it being temporary for the time being. And I promise on my pride that I will not use my power to hurt any innocents ever again, no matter what happens. Albion. Alright if you say so. Issei. So what will you do now, Volley? Volley. Become stronger. There is someone that I want to fight along with you. I will let you know when the time is right. Become stronger as well, Haidu, cause I will not be easy next time and we will fight for fun, not till the death. Issei smiled and responded. Issei. Very well. See you later. Volley then teleported away as Issei returned to the group with Ingvild and the ore crushing by his side. Issei. I am fine guys, so I take it you have seen everything. Surziches. Yes, and I must say I am impressed little brother, you became way stronger than before. Azazel. If it is alright, can you introduce us to her? Issei. Alright, Belle, come and meet the others. Belle nodded and transformed into a pale woman with black hair who appears in a long orange Victorian dress and skeletal face paint. She then met the others and got along with most of them relatively well, and she was happy to meet the others and got along with almost everyone. After which she had to return back to the gear along with Drake, who had entered inside much earlier. After which Azazel talks to John. Azazel. I have contacted Osmond and he spoke that he will be coming here tomorrow. Ajuka should be done with the dimensional transporter very soon and they will be coming here tomorrow. John. Alright, thanks Azazel sensei. Azazel. But are you sure you want to meet them? Especially after what happened with you. John. Yeah, they were the only ones that cared for me. Aside from that, I do owe Ruby and Summer a chance to meet up with their family, especially her husband Ruby's father and her Uncle Crow she told me about. Azazel smiled and responded. Azazel. Very well kid. Azazel teleports out of here with Surziches and Grafia following suit. Issei and his group then rest for a while. Given their tiring journey after so long, the girls and the others let them rest, and even Rias surprisingly agreed to this, since she knew that he was the most tired among everyone else. They decided to continue their talk after they enjoy their rest. Scene break. Epilogue IV, John, Ruby and Summer. Settling scores. The next day, 9:30 am. After Issei goes to sleep with every girl sleeping next to him, with Ingvild and Rias having their usual catfight in the morning, Issei was surprised to sleep with all these girls next to him, with them all sleeping naked. Ingvild also was surprisingly dominant, as she did not let Rias and Akeno take her spot as his girlfriend no matter what. She even slept naked next to him. It was a surprise that he is still a virgin even after that. Issei then headed to the table where he saw Summer had woken up. She then spoke. Summer. Morning Issei. Issei. Oh hey morning. Summer. So how was your sleep, considering the girls were relentless in sleeping with you? Issei. I somehow slept. Well my harem life is back so anyway, ready to meet the people back home. Summer. Summer. Yep, although I wonder how will they react given that I have been missing for so long. Issei. It will be fine, you should be alright. It is John I am worried about. Oh and speak of the devil. John and Ruby show up next. After that the orc girls and Ingvild had shown up. As for Kiba and Gasper, they were still getting ready and will be out soon. Issei then greets them. Issei. Morning everyone. John. Morning Issei. Ruby. Say will we be meeting them today? John. Yeah, Azazel sensei told me that they would be coming here today itself. I just hope that they would not do anything funny, especially them. Rias. Oh worry not, if they do anything, we will destroy them no cap. Ingvild. For once I agree with Red here, we will not show any mercy if they dared to hurt you. Akeno. Ara I wonder how much their pain tolerance is. Akeno licks her lips, making John and Ruby shiver, and gave Issei a slight scare though. She is someone you don't want to anger. John. Guys, I love the support, but I think it is best that I handle this. Besides, I want to settle scores with Purra and Card. I will make them pay for betraying me and making my life a living hell. Issei. You bet, and we are with you. I have absolute pain and liquid pain still with me, just let me know if you need one. Asia. What are those? Issei then explained them to the group what they are, making them completely shiver in pure fear. These things are to be avoided. That is when Issei spoke. Issei. That is why I keep them in my sacred gear in a separate area, completely safe and sound. I have some in my squirt gun, and I can use it as a weapon as well. Arena. These things, who even made these things? They are stronger than any corrosive material on earth. I am glad that these things are away. Speaking of which, wouldn't Dragon Bell be affected? Zenobia. Indeed, even I am scared by them. They are powerful than many weapons. Issei. Not at all, I have secured them under a massive cabinet which only I can open, and they are kept in glass bottles immune to their corrosive effects. Dragon Bell responded from the gear. Drag. Indeed, partner made sure to make multiple locks so that only he can access them and nobody else. L. Yeah, even I could not break them, no matter how hard I tried. Issei. The reason is because these things are extremely dangerous if they fell into the wrong hands, especially absolute pain, and it was my mindscape that is why I was able to make the lock so strong. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief after that. Mickey brought in the food, which everyone ate. It would have been peaceful, right? Wrong, even here Ingvild and Rias had to fight. Ingvild. Issei, say ah. Issei opened his mouth and Ingvild fed him, which caused Rias to do the same as well. Rias. Ice, open your mouth. Issei did the same. Akeno and the other girls did not want to be left out, continued to do the same. Issei had a tough time keeping up with everyone doing this and struggled to keep up with it. This resulted in another catfight, which caused many girls to be screaming each other, recalling their past achievements with him. Issei was under pressure, while John, Ruby and Summer only pitifully looked at him. John. I pity him. I am glad that I do not have an harem. Ruby. And don't even think about getting one, John. Ruby spoke with a sweet tone, making the blonde nod in fear. Summer. Anyways, we should get going, now girls, stop fighting or else it would not be nice. Summer spoke with a sweet tone, making Issei, Ruby, John and Ingvild shiver. Ingvild immediately stopped fighting. Rias tried to interject by saying, Rias. But I. Summer cuts her off and speaks. Summer. Now, Rias, you need to calm down, or I will inform Grafia about this. Now you don't want her to get angry, do you? Summer spoke with the same tone, making Rias stand down. The other girls also did stand down, including Akeno, who tried to control the massive boner she was getting. That was when a magic circle opened up, revealing Azazel. Azazel. Ah, it is good to see the house this lively early in the morning. Summer. Azazel, I take it that they are ready to come. Azazel. Yep, you guys get ready, they will show up in an hour's time. John. Alright, thank you sensei. Azazel nods and leaves the house via the same magic circle. They finish their food and head to the rooms to get ready to change. John got his suit and blue Luxmores in case they show up to attack him. Ruby and Summer also did the same and took their weapons, Crescent Rose and Crescent Light respectively. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi John predicting everything what Chibi Carden says making him shocked. Underworld, 11:30 am. Issei and his group along with the Orc and Surziches and Graphia entered the laboratory where Ajuka and Azazel were working on the final touches of the transporter. Ajuka. I am glad you guys can join us. John. Are you Ajuka Beelzebub the smartest man in the whole underground? Ajuka. Why yes, it is a pleasure to meet you John Ark of Remnant, thanks to you, we have discovered a whole world. Issei. So shall we begin, Lord Beelzebub? Ajuka. Indeed we shall, although can I request you to wait back, I want to see the upgraded boosted gear. Issei. I understand, Lord Beelzebub. Summer noticed Ruby getting excited and grabbed her before she could do anything funny. She luckily calmed down. After that Ajuka had activated the teleportation machine which had glowed blue in color. Meanwhile in Remnant Beacon, 11:30 am. Ironwood. Ospen, are you sure this is where they will be? Ospen. Yes, the man named Azazel had contacted them, so where is Ty and Team CFEY? Crow. They're here. Crow had opened the door, revealing a blonde-haired man that has two small strands sticking out from the top and blue eyes. His facial hair consists of a soul patch and small stubble along his jawline. On his right arm is a tattoo of his, which resembles a heart. He wears brown cargo shorts with a dark brown belt, black shoes, a red bandana on his left arm, and a brown leather vest over a tan dress shirt with the right sleeve cut off. For armor, he wears a metal spalder, leather vambrace and a brown fingerless glove all on his right arm. He possesses a rather muscular build. He was Taeyang, one of the members of Team STRQ, when he heard the news of his daughter and presumed dead wife being alive, he also rushed to Ospen's office, where they waiting. Along with him were Team CFEY, the first was Coco Adele, the team leader and the resident fashion girl. She was described to be a lady with fair skin, short dark brown hair, and dark brown eyes. Along with him were Team CFEY, the first was Coco Adele, the team leader and the resident fashion girl. She was described to be a lady with fair skin, short dark brown hair, and dark brown eyes. She has wavy locks on one side of her face, dyed with a gradient that starts as dark brown and transitions to caramel. Her clothes consist of a long cocoa-colored shirt with an upturned layered frill collar with a black single-strapped waist cincher. She wears black trousers that have golden lining around the pocket and ribbons attached to the back of a golden zipper seam around her knees. The black golden studded belt is normally hidden by a large cocoa-colored belt with gun cartridges on the left side and a large golden crosshair buckle. A large piece of black fabric is attached to her belt hanging down on her right side. She wears a pair of dark black high-heeled leather calf-high boots with golden buckles. She was joined by a brown-haired bunny girl Faunus, named Velvet Scarlatina. She was the other person who cared for John aside from Ruby herself. Velvet is first seen wearing the Beacon Academy uniform, which consists of a maroon blazer with golden brown lining and twin buttons over a brown button-up vest and white blouse, with pleated-looking neckline and a red ribbon tied around her black-lined collar. She also wears the traditional red checked with black stripes with golden brown, outlining alongside white tulle. She also wears a pair of black tights accompanied by a pair of brown lace-up wedged sole boots. After which was Fox, a teenage boy with dark skin and dark messy copper hair that has a long fringe and a cowlick. He wears a sleeveless muted orange zipper vest with black lining and a high collar, a pair of black jeans, and brown laced shoes. His eyes are pure white, showing that he is physically blind. His arms are covered in scars and he has a vertical scar on his lips. And finally Atsuhashi, a tall and athletic-looking young man with shaved short black hair and tanned skin, who wears mostly pale green and brown attire. He has a long short-sleeved robe, which he wears on one shoulder over a black muscle shirt. The robe is fastened at the waist by a leather armored belt with two pouches on it. He also wears brown pants and black and green boots. His left arm bears a 5-layer soap which extends up past his shoulder. His left arm bears a 5-layer soap which extends up past his shoulder. Tie. Is it true that Ruby is safe and Summer is alive, Ospen? Ospen. Indeed, they have survived, and she should tell you about the full story. It is honestly a miracle that she was alive for so long. Tai breaks down in tears, while Crow comforts the man. They both are happy that Ruby and Summer are alive and well. Velvet then asks, Velvet. Is John alive as well? Ospen. Indeed, he is Ms. Scarlatina. They are in a dimension called Draconic Deus right now, and the portal will open there anytime now. Coco. Bun Bun, I told you he will be alright, we just needed to believe him. Velvet could only cry in happiness, while the rest of her team members comfort her. Hawks. I am happy that John is alright, I am forever grateful to him for standing up to you. Yatsuhashi. Indeed that boy has valor, unlike some people. Coco. Gyatso, calm down, we don't want to remember him of all people, especially after what he did to Velvet, that is why we decided to hang out, even more to protect you. Velvet. Please don't remind me. Ozpin. Anyways, the portal should be opening any moment now. And then a blue light occurred in front of them, and that was when Ironwood spoke. Ironwood. So this is the technology in their world, I need to keep this a secret. Linda. You better, James, they are really greedy, but in the end they might end up killing them if they ever try to attack this world. Crow. I agree, this world's people are not to be messed with. Atlas will doom themselves if they ever went toe-to-toe with this world. The others agreed, that is when Ozpin said. Ozpin. Alright, here we go. They all walked through the portal, however they were not the only ones present. 3 certain teams were following Crow, Taeyang and Team CFVY, and they decided to go after a while. Scene change in the DXD world. Underworld, 1 PM. Azazel. They are certainly taking their sweet time. That is when the group showed up. Ozpin showed up with most of his inner circle, being Glinda, James, Ironwood and Crow. Taeyang along with Team CFVY were also there. Ozpin. So you are Azazel, the one that contacted me and told me about Mr. John and Ms. Rose. Azazel. Indeed, I am Azazel, the Governor General of the Fallen Angels, and it is a pleasure to meet you, Headmaster of Beacon. Ozpin. Indeed it is. As for the others, Velvet, Glinda, Crow and Taeyang had tears in their eyes for their loved ones. They immediately rushed to them with Glinda and Velvet going for John, and Crow and Taeyang going after Summer and Ruby. Even Summer had tears in her eyes. It has been 12 years since she had seen them. Ruby. Uncle QROWW. Crow. I missed you, little one, where were you? Summer. Tai, I can explain. Tai. I am sorry, Summer, I am sorry I could not save you, I am sorry. Summer. Please do not blame yourself, I know what happened to you, Ruby told me everything, and I also know what she did to John. Tai. Before we can continue, I need to do something. Tai then approached John, who was being embraced by both Glinda and Velvet. They both were worried sick about him and have been asking him the same thing. Tai then spoke. Tai. I presume you are John. John, oh hey Mr. Xiaolong, I am well. Tai. I am sorry. John. Huh. Tai. I am sorry for what Yang did to you, she had beaten you to near death, I failed her, I should have stopped her from doing that, I am sorry. Tai had apologized and bowed his head, shocking the blonde, he then responded. John. Please do not apologize, Mr. Xiaolong, although I am never going to forgive her, not only did she beat me up, she turned on Ruby as well, just because she helped me. Tai nodded in agreement. After that Summer approached and introduced the rest of the group, the people from Rem paled, such strong beings were present, but Surziches assured them that they are allies. After that John, Summer and Ruby went on their experiences in the backrooms, which intrigued everyone, they were all having a good time, until. Velvet. Let go of my ears. Oh come on, bunny, ain't that cute. John, Ruby, Glinda, Ozpin and the rest of Team CFEY recognized the voice, and they were furious on who he was burnt orange hair that is combed backward, with a slight peak at the front and indigo eyes. He wears silver grey armor with gold trim. His chest plate sports a bird with its wings outstretched. Underneath the armor, he wore a black shirt with red trimmings and black pants with a red sash tied around his waist. He also wore silver grey armored under the knee boots that matched the rest of his armor. John. Carden. John said with pure anger, he rushed and punched him straight in the face, this caused Velvet to calm down, while John smiled at her and asked, John. Are you alright? Velvet. Yeah. Issei. Carden. You mean the same guy that made John's life a living hell and is an all-round bully and racist? Ruby. Yep. Issei also glared at him, along with everyone else, he ruined a good moment having them, even Belle and Drake were furious inside. Carden then woke up and taunted. Carden. Well, if it isn't Johnny Boy, the faker and Carden was unable to finish when he received a punch to the face sending him flying. Surziches on noticing a fight happen, created a barrier around the two so that they do not destroy any lab equipment. Carden got up and yelled. Carden. You will pay for that faker. Carden went for a swing, however John kept dodging the attack with ease. He then removed his blue blade and countered it. It glowed a heavenly blue, causing Carden to fall behind. However Carden decided to taunt the angry Ark even more. Carden. You know when you were away, I attacked Velvet and not just regular attack, I did it with her. John took a while, but understood. Carden smiled and spoke. Carden. Yes, I attacked her sexually and I enjoyed it. Meanwhile with the Issei and his group. Issei. Velvet, is this true? Velvet was crying once Carden exposed her, Coco said in her stead. Coco. Indeed it is, we stopped him before he could, that bastard nearly raped her and tried to attack her until. Yatsuhashi. Until I stopped him, I taught him a lesson, but he kept attacking her. Hawks. That is why one of us sticks with Velvet, his parents own the Vale Council, we could not tell anyone about this, we had to defend her, and one of us had to be with her all times. Ingvild. That is just abuse of power, he is now beyond redemption, I would love to torment him myself. Rias. Yep, he makes Riser seem like a saint. Akeno. I could not agree any more, President. Arena. I hope he burns in hell for eternity. Zenobia. No, Arena, hell is too good for someone like him, he should be sent to purgatory. Kaneko. Rapist, murder him. Asper was inside his box, but even he was angry the whole time. Kiba. I want to slice him down, myself, no mercy. Ruby. Count me in, Kiba. Rex. Torment him. Issei gritted his teeth in anger, he wanted to make him pay right here and now, however he sensed someone was even more angrier than him now. Issei. Guys, I think John is gonna torment this guy. They looked at him and noticed that he was radiating immense bloodlust, he will kill Cardin today, no matter what happens. Scene change. Meanwhile with the adults, everyone was angry, but none were more angry than Surziches and Azazel. Surziches. Is this the students you have at your academy, Osban? Osban was equally angry, he did not know that this was gonna happen. Osban. I did not know this, Lord Lucifer, I assure you, I will expel him and bar him from entering any other academy. Azazel. You better, or I will kill him myself. Ironwood. I agree, mind if I join. Crow. Yeah, make that too, I would also like to give that boy a piece of my mind. Tai. Truly irredeemable, how the hell did he even get to Beacon? Ironwood. His parents, they think they own Vale, and nobody dares to resist them. Tai. Linda and Grafia kept quiet, it took them every fiber from ripping them apart, that is when Summer pointed out what had happened. Summer. Look, John has finally snapped, he will not spare him. Everyone noticed John radiating immense bloodlust, they knew that there will be hell to pay, as Cardin is gonna receive the hell of his life. But John was radiating immense bloodlust, he has finally snapped, he was gonna kill his bully no matter what happens. John was radiating immense bloodlust, he has finally snapped, he was gonna kill his bully no matter what happens. John. Cardin, I am now mad, now I am really mad, and I will make you pay. John charged at Cardin in blinding speeds, which only a select few could see, he then kept slashing Cardin in rapid-fire speeds, making him unable to either dodge or defend, he is pushed back, but is heavily wounded. Cardin. My parents own the council, if you kill me, they will make your life a living hell. John ignored him and approached him with the intent to kill, he then charged at him, increasing the speed and the intensity of the slashes to the point of complete disintegration. John ignored him and approached him with the intent to kill, he then charged at him, increasing the speed and the intensity of the slashes to the point of complete disintegration. John. Atomic slash. John then brought Cardin to his knees, his armor was shattered completely, his aura was as good as gone. Glinda looked at her scroll and saw that it was 0%, he then saw Cardin wheezing in pain, he then glared with the intensity to kill, he then looked at Issei and asked, John. Issei, pass me a bottle of absolute pain. Issei. Surely you go for it, do you want me to boost? John. Nah, I want to make it painful, boosting it would make it a quick death. Issei. Very well. Issei then gave the bottle to John, who took it. Azazel, Summer, Ruby, Issei, Rex and Ingvild knew what was gonna happen. Surziches. Hey, why did he ask for that? Azazel. Just watch. Summer. Trust me, you will enjoy it. John then grabbed Cardin and made him feed the entire absolute pain, in less than a minute, he started to feel his head being hammered, making him groan in immense pain. Cardin then spoke. Cardin. Please, I am sorry. John looked at him, he continued to be in pain, his internal organs were being ripped to shreds, his body was bleeding from everywhere, blood was being spurted around everywhere, he then noticed his bones were breaking down, making him wince in pain to the point of crying, he was barely even recognizable. Issei covered Asia's eyes, so that she could not see, but she removed it. She wanted to see this rapist suffer, which made Issei happy that she has grown. As for Cardin, his body was basically unrecognizable, his whole body was torn on the inside and outside, his head then exploded as Surziches and many others put barriers to prevent them from getting dirty. While John got out of there, Cardin then died, because he could not handle the pain. John then approached his dead body and sarcastically said, John. Apology accepted. Cardin Winchester. John then powered down, however he then received an attack from his sword and the attack was a red-haired girl with a Spartan armor. John. Nikos. Purra. How dare you kill Cardin? Issei recognized her, along with many others, it took their entire willpower to prevent them from going full ballistic on her. Osban then approached her and said, Osban. It is because he deserved it and John interrupted him. John. I need to settle a score with her as well, you can tell her later. They were joined by remaining members of Team JNPR, Team WBY and Team CRDL. They were horrified by Carden's current status and understood that John killed him. Weiss, one of the team members, was described to be a pale-skinned young woman with pale blue eyes and long white hair that is often pulled back into an off-center ponytail or braid on the right side and pinned with a silver icicle-shaped tiara. She wears a thigh-length strapless dress with a faint color gradation from white to pale blue at the hem. A small piece of black lace sits in the front of her neckline, and the hem of the dress is scalloped and stitched to resemble snowflakes, with layers of white tulle under the skirt. Over this, she wears a bell-sleeved bolero with the same color gradation as her dress from shoulder to wrist, lined in red and with a ruffled collar. On the back of the bolero is the Schnee crest. Blake, on the other hand, was a fauness who was a fair-skinned young woman with wavy black hair and amber eyes. Her fauness trait is a pair of black cat ears on top of her head. She wears a black button vest with coattails and a single silver button on the front. Underneath this is a white, sleeveless, high-necked, crop undershirt and white shorts with a zipper on the front of each leg, emblazoned with the IC logo of the real-life Japanese zipper manufacturer. Underneath this is a white, sleeveless, high-necked, crop undershirt and white shorts with a zipper on the front of each leg, emblazoned with the IC logo of the real-life Japanese zipper manufacturer. Osborn then spoke. Osborn. So you guys followed Crow, didn't you? I asked you to stay back, but you disobeyed a direct order. You will be punished for this. Weiss. But he murdered Carden. Why are you not arresting this faker? Yang. Yeah, I would beat him up. And John. I would like to see you try, you yellow gorilla. Yang saw Red and tried to attack him, thinking she was cornered. However, John slashed her in a forward manner, sending her flying. She glared at him, while John glared at her as well. Osborn. In that case, since a fight is what you all want, then a fight is what you will get. Issei. Then let me join as well. Ruby. Me too. Ingvild. I am in as well. The trio then approached. Yang wanted to come to Ruby, however even she glared at her, making her stay. Osborn then spoke. Osborn. In that case, the fight between Ms. Rose, Mr. John, Mr. Haidu and Ms. Leviathan against Team JNPR, Team WBY and Team RDL will begin soon. John. It's actually John Ark. Well, my grandfather made me into the real heir. Jean, his twin sister who looked like a female John, spoke in pure anger, while Osborn was surprised that he met Galen Ark, the only Ark aside from his sister Saffron and her family and his grandmother. Jean. Oh shut it, you disgrace of an Ark, you shame our name. I am the true Ark heir. And she was responded with a sword aimed at her throat, silencing her in anger. John. Believe it or not, grandfather made me into the true heir and I will reclaim my throne from Eugene, whether you like it or not. Jean glared at her former brother with pure hatred. Osborn then spoke. Osborn. Lord Lucifer, you can begin. Serziches then teleported the aforementioned to a dimensional replica of Kuo Academy. He made it into a sort of rating game. Summer acted as an announcer. Summer. Welcome to the match between the 3 teams and the 4. This match will be given to the victor only if they are able to eliminate all members of one side, then only they can win. John then explained how their semblances work and their advantages and disadvantages, as well as their fighting styles. This gave them a significant advantage. John then spoke. John. Leave Jean, Ren and Purra to me. Issei, can you take care of Nora? Issei. Consider it done. Ingvild. So Blake uses sneak attacks. Her semblance allows her to create copies of herself, so I think Ruby should be able to handle it. Ruby. Yup, Kenshi's training allowed me to sense the real clone with ease. She can use it to defend herself, but if her clones get hit, they dissipate. Besides, he did improve my sensory abilities, allowing me to sense the real one from the clones, and I will handle Yang. Leave her to me. Ingvild. Then I will handle those idiots from Team CRDL, they will be easy pickings. Issei. So I will be up against Weiss and Nora then. When we are done we can assist each other. John. Right, guys, thank you for helping me, without you we would never have. Issei cuts him off. Issei. John, listen, we are a team, we will always have each other's backs. Ruby. Issei is right, now let's take them down. Ingvild. Issei and Ruby are right, we will fight them as one team, and we will defeat them. John. Thanks guys, now let's rock. Everyone. Yeah. Scene change. Meanwhile with the others. Rias. This does bring back memories. Bekeno. Yup, when we had our first rating game. Hineko. I wonder how they will fare. Rias. I think John has got it undercovered. Osborn. You are correct, Miss Gremory. Not only is his leadership skills one of the best, but also he is a quick learner. You saw his fight against Mr. Winchester, right? Rias nodded, while the others looked intently. Majority cheered for the 4 to win, especially girls of both worlds and Rex as well. Meanwhile with the 4, Issei and Ruby were heading to gymnasium. Issei had informed the group of the advantageous spots, given that if they had more territory, they would gain the advantage. They needed to secure more land. That is when Issei sensed Weiss next in the room. She was hiding along with Blake Belladonna. Issei. Alright Schnee, Belladonna, come out now, we know you are in there. The aforementioned came out of the shadows. Both of them were shocked that they were detected so easily. Blake then spoke. Blake. How did you know? Issei. One of my teachers was a ninja, he taught me of the sneak attack techniques assassins use to gain advantage, you cannot jump on me Belladonna. Ruby. Leave Blake to me, I think you can handle Weiss right. Issei. Easily. Issei cracked his knuckles, he was itching for a fight, maybe some of Battle Maniac has been rubbed on him by Volley. Weiss. Don't get so cocky, Haidu. Weiss summoned her glyphs to attack him, however Issei dodged them easily, he then charged at her giving her a gut punch, which reduced her aura to 60%, he did not want to kill her, but he would certainly make it worth it, since the retiring system would just teleport to a safe area, she needed to defeat him. Weiss summoned an ice wall to distract him and removed her blade the Mertnister to attack him, Issei responded. Issei. Cool blade, wanna see mine, Ascalon. Blade. Issei was able to easily parry with Weiss and was able to hold her off with ease. His training with his sword may not be on par with John or Kiba, but he was certainly able to hold his own. On the other side, Blake on the other hand was struggling against Ruby. She was conflicted ever since John and Ruby had disappeared, but now that they are back, they hate her and her friends with every fiber of their being. She did not want to fight them, but Ruby was not gonna forgive her, especially after she let John get abused. She used her gamble shroud to keep up with her, but Ruby was no joke, her clones were also useless, since her clones were getting destroyed by Ruby with ease. Blake used her clones to distract her, however John knew that she would do this, and Ruby smiled shocking Blake, despite this she did not stop, that was when they heard the announcement. Summer. Sky, Dove and Russell have been eliminated. Weiss and Blake fell back shocked, while Issei only smiled, Weiss then asked. Weiss. But how? Issei. Looks like Ingvild did her job. Ingvild then teleported to the duo, Issei then spoke. Issei. Hey Heim. Ingvild. They were easy pickings, just some water dragons, and they were down with ease. Pathetic bullies. Issei. Let's end this Weiss. Boost boost boost. Ingvild. Want me to join? Issei. Nah, I got this Ingvild. Both Issei and Ruby charged at the duo intending to end this. Issei attacked Weiss with a punch to the face, knocking her aura to 20%. Issei used a point-blank dragon shot after knocking Weiss defenseless by removing her sword from her hand, disarming her with ease. This caused a direct hit, making Weiss scream in pain because of the blast. She was then covered in a green light, causing her to retire. Summer. Weiss Schnee has been eliminated. Blake was the next to go as Ruby predicted her clone and used her well-timed scythe attack, aiming at her blind spot. Her aura fell to 40% and she used a fire dust round to take her down. She then threw a fire salt at her which exploded on contact. It revealed a Blake who was unconscious and had torn clothes. Her bow was removed, revealing her Franna's traits, as well as a charred body. She was then engulfed in a green light. Summer. Blake Belladonna has been eliminated. Issei. Alright, that's 5 down, 5 left. Ruby. Let's head to John, now, I guess her should be fighting the rest. Ingvild. Well then let's go. Scene change of teams JNPR and Yang, 15 minutes earlier. They heard the announcement and most were furious, especially Jean, Yang on a purr. Yang. That faker, he took half of us down with ease. John. That's because we work as a team and not against each other. They looked at John who was standing next to the door in a bored manner. He then looked at his former team and Yang in disappointment. John. And it's a shame you guys don't have that dynamic. Yang. You. Ren. Yang no. Yang charged at her, John went into his mechanical suit and blitzed her Yang like it was nothing. He then used his sword in an upward manner and slammed her up. Her aura was reduced to 70%, but she was stuck up. John. My opponent is not you, it is them, your opponent will be coming soon Yang. John gripped his blade and glared at his former team. Nora and Ren were already conflicted because of their treatment towards him, while Purr and Jean looked at John in pure hatred. That is when Issei, Ruby and Ingvild joined him. Issei. Sorry we were late, but I think you got this under control eh? John. Yeah, I wasn't even trying, so you wanna change opponents. Issei. Nope, I will take care of Nora, you handle the rest of your former treacherous friends. Nora and Ren flinched on Issei's statement, he was right about one thing, they were traitors. Ruby. Leave my older sister to me. Ingvild. I will hold off those two jackasses till you want to fight them. Ingvild used a water barrier preventing them from passing through. Issei took on Nora, while John handled Ren, Ingvild held off Purr and Jean, and finally Ruby dealt with her sister. Issei was able to keep up with Nora with relative ease, given his fighting skills. Nora used her grenade launcher on the Red Dragon Emperor, however he counters the grenades with well-precise dragon shots, destroying every single one of them. The impact sent Nora flying knocking her out for a while. Issei then looked at the fight, he could see that Ren was conflicted when fighting against John, he did not want to fight, however John did not care, his goal was to take them down, and take them down he will. Ren. John, listen, I really don't want to fight you. John. Sorry Rennie, you have made your choice a long time ago. John was quick, Ren fired his storm flower at him, however John dodged every attack with his mechanical suit to dodge and attack every attack thrown at him. John used his blue Luxmore's aura-piercing abilities to apply forward slash to Ren, which Ren had a tough time encountering. He was eventually disarmed, and John slashed constantly piercing his aura, reducing it to 10%. He then ended the fight with a sucker punch to the face. Ren thought. Ren, I see it now then, I brought this on myself, I am sorry John. Ren then was overcome by a green light, Summer announced. Summer. Ren has been eliminated. John then looked at Ingvild and signaled her that he was done with Ren. She stopped her water attack. Nora heard the announcement and became even more demoralized. She hated herself for abandoning John, Issei then said. Issei. Now you regret, you should never have abandoned John if you regret Nora. Nora was unable to speak, she charged at Issei, who only sighed. He then said, Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Issei then charged at her in blinding speeds and gave her a gut punch in response, making her aura fall below 30%. He ended the fight quickly by aiming a dragon shot, making her scream in pain. She was then overtaken by a green light and was eliminated. Issei then charged at her in blinding speeds and gave her a gut punch in response, making her aura fall below 30%. He ended the fight quickly by aiming a dragon shot, making her scream in pain. She was then overtaken by a green light and was eliminated. Summer. Nora Valkyrie has been eliminated. Issei. Now only 3 remain. He saw Ruby and Yang fighting. Yang tried to talk her out of being with John, but Ruby refused to listen. Yang. Why are you still with that faker, Ruby? John scoffed at this, while Issei face-palmed. Ingvild looked at her dumbfoundedly, she was heavily deluded in her own world. Ruby responded. Ruby? Know this Yang, I can make my own choices, I am old enough to do so I like John, and you are no one to make me decide who I need to be friends with and who not to my life is my own making, and my own choices are the ones to decide them, and I think I am mature enough to make my own decisions. Ruby has had enough of her sister trying to turn her against John and babying her, she was trying to control her life, but not anymore, she is old enough to make her decisions. John was intensely blushing, while Issei nudged him in a teasing manner. Ingvild smiled in happiness, the only one that was angry was Yang. As for Pura and Jean, they were still trying to recover from the water wall. Yang blindly charged at her, however Ruby easily sidestepped her, she knew her semblance absorbed kinetic energy and used it against her enemies. Now this would have been a bit of a problem against Issei, however Issei not only uses hand-based fighting style, but also kick-based as well as sword fighting style. Ruby used this to her advantage and attacked her with her scythe constantly. She was completely scarred by the scythe attacks, now she was charging for a heavy counter-attack, but this was predictable, and Ruby easily evaded the attacks. She then charged at well-timed scythe attack and twirled it upwards grazing her body in a circular manner. Ruby then threw a fire salt at her, which easily exploded making Yang scream in pain, given that she was weakened with ease. After that a green light glowed across her, and Summer spoke. Summer. Yang Xiaolong had been eliminated. Ruby fell down, she felt happy that she broke from her sister's controlling nature with ease. Now only 2 remain, Pura Nikos and Jean Arc. They recovered and saw that they are the only 2 remaining. They glared at John and his team and they wanted to fight all, however John said. John. Allow me to handle them, I have a score to settle with the both of them. Issei. Enjoy bro, call us if you need any help, we are only a voice away literally. John nods, while the rest of the team watch. As John approached Pura, he was then rushed by Jean, who wanted to take down the disgrace of an arc, however John only held her sword and broke it with ease. He then grabbed her face and slammed it to the nearby wall, making her scream in pain and knocking her out. Her aura was reduced to 60%. John nods, while the rest of the team watch. As John approached Pura, he was then rushed by Jean, who wanted to take down the disgrace of an arc, however John only held her sword and broke it with ease. He then grabbed her face and slammed. John. I will deal with you later, Jean, I need to give a message to you so that you can give to my asshole of a father. John then looks at the horrified Pura with a smirk, he then speaks. John. Let's end this Pura, once and for all. Pura. I will make you pay for what you did to Carden. John. Oh we will see about that, you treacherous slut. John entered into his mechanical suit and released his sword, ready to take his former partner down. John could only grin, half of her team was taken down with ease, while the Spartan could only do nothing but watch. She used her polarity to get John's blade, however John predicted this, he spoke. John. You want this, come and get it. John was able to use his training from Kenshi, as he was able to keep up with John. He knew that Pura will be the strongest opponent he would be dealing with so far. She constantly used her strikes to gain advantage going for weak spots, however John knew this. With the sparring matches, he activated the aura-piercing abilities of his sword and gripped it firmly in his hand. He then used the sword in a downward manner, piercing through her defenses. Pura used her weapon Milo and AKOU Acute 01 in a ranged manner using the sniper rifle in order to shoot John. She aimed it at the parts that will hurt John the most. He smiled, he knew she would do this, she had become too predictable at the time. Using his skill in his sword, he deflected every single bullet Pura shot at him, shocking her. Pura used her weapon Milo and AKOU Acute 01 in a ranged manner using the sniper rifle in order to shoot John. She aimed it at the parts that will hurt John the most. He smiled, he knew she would do this, she had become too predictable at the time. Pura. How? How did you become this strong? John. You know that is something for you to find out. Did you remember when you stabbed me when I was beaten? Pura was horrified, the memory is still fresh in her head. Issei, and the Ingvild did not know she went this far. John then continued. John. After that I trained relentlessly, under someone that could easily go toe-to-toe with the teachers with ease. He took me, Ruby and the shield hero down easily. You are nothing compared to him, he has been a far better teacher than you ever are, were and will be. Pura was shocked, John had nothing but hatred for her. John then glowed his blue blade and rushed her. She was unable to see him, due to the massive speed. Pura was neither able to dodge or protect herself. John then slashed her multiple times, and spoke. Pura was shocked, John had nothing but hatred for her. John then glowed his blue blade and rushed her. She was unable to see him, due to the massive speed. Pura was neither able to dodge or protect herself. John then slashed her multiple John. Atomic slash. Pura. Ah. Pura screamed in pain as her armor and most of her clothes were easily destroyed. She had fallen to the ground completely. John then ended the fight with him stabbing her in the stomach. He then spoke. John. Game over, Nikos. Pura dissipated in a green light as she could not take any more damage. Summer. Pura Nikos has been eliminated. Scene change. Meanwhile with the others. Diva. Those skills, he has been well trained, I would like to have a spar with him. Zenobia. Me too, I want to test my ex Durandal against him. Arena. He is good, he has been trained by someone special. Rias. The fight is too good, not only are the coordination good, but also the attacks of the team good as well. Ingvild's water abilities, John's speed and sword fighting abilities, along with CQC, Ruby's ranged and close fighting abilities, and finally Ice's pure raw fighting prowess and abilities, make this an amazing team. Ospen. I couldn't agree anymore, Miss Gremory. Ironwood. Their fighting almost seems like he has been trained to the point of surviving in any situation. I could say the same for the rest as well. Linda. And that's not all, I think they have not been going all out. This Backrooms not only changed them for the better, but made them powerful. Surziches. The Red Dragon Emperor, the Crimson Rose, the Blue Knight and the Princess of Leviathan, they make a good team, don't they? Azazel. I agree, if they do go to Remnant, will this be the team Ospen? Ospen. Yeah, I think so too. I will be removing Ruby from Team RWBY permanently and replace her with someone else. Akeno. That's good, will we also go there someday? Surziches. Patience Akeno, your time will come. Akeno and the others nod, they continue to watch the fight as it's brought to its conclusion. Scene change. Meanwhile with John and the others. John looked at his twin sister, she was the only one left. She looked around to see everyone beside her eliminated and John and his team were still there. It seemed like they weren't even trying. John then taunted her. John. So you were saying you were gonna show a disgrace like me his place, where is that valor huh? Gone down the drain just like your strength. Your team could even push me and you wanted to show me my place huh? I will tell you what, I will let you have one strike, let's see how powerful you really are, let's see whether your words are as true as an arc or as hollow as your father. Jean. Gladly. Jean blindly charged at her former brother, who easily parried her strike with ease, she then spoke in horror. Jean. How? How can a disgrace like you be this strong? John. How? It's because, where I went to every single day your life was in danger, there were entities that would make Grim seem like nothing. This blade you see this is Cressera Moors, but I upgraded it, changed it into something that fits me. This blade is now called Blue Lux Moors, and only I can wield it. Jean got even more angry at this, she then spoke in anger. Jean. How dare you, John. Father will not accept this. John. I don't give a rat's ass about what that sperm donor thinks, he can go to hell for all I care for, let's end this. John then used his sword which had glowed in blue, he then constantly kept his barrage of strikes on Jean, reducing her aura like it was nothing. John. Don't fuck with this arc. John then kicked her in the stomach, something which he learned by fighting against the redacted Watcher. This coupled with a barrage of strikes, made her scream in pain, however before he could deal the final strike to eliminate her, he spoke. John. Give a message to that sperm donor that I would be reclaiming my position back from him, try all he could he will not take my weapon or my right from me, no matter what happens. Jean nodded in fear, after which John rendered his final strike reducing her aura to 0. She then glowed in green, and Summer made the final announcement. Summer. Jean Arc has been eliminated, all members on the opposing team has been eliminated, the winner is John Arc, Issei Haidu, Ruby Rose and Ingvild Leviathan. John then powered down his mechanical suit. After that they were all teleported back to Ajuka's lab, where everyone congratulated the four on their victory. In the aftermath they all went home, minus Summer who stayed back. She needed to talk with a certain someone, and until then, she will wait. She asked Azazel and Ty to wait with her, which they did not mind. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi. Summer sighing at the antics of a Chibi orc. Yang was kept separate on Summer's request. She gritted her teeth on what had happened. Ruby had turned completely against her. She could only watch as John had not only taken her sister away from her, but also manipulated her against Yang. She would torment him until he dies for turning Ruby against her. She will not let Ruby be with John and will never accept him as family. That is when Summer came in. Summer. Hello Yang. Yang looked in shock. This was Summer Rose, the woman that had been deceased for so long. She then spoke. Yang. Summer, it can't be. Summer. I believe we have a conversation relating to your current actions and I will make sure you tell me for everything you have done so far. Summer then looked at Ty and spoke. Summer. I got this, wait for me outside. Ty. Ty nodded nervously. She can get really scary when she is angry and she was at her most angriest at the point. Summer. Is this how I raised you? Yang beating up a man just because of false papers. Yang. But he is a faker and Summer. I will have you know that your uncle Qrow and your mother Raven also faked themselves in. They did it the same way John did, only for different reasons. Yang flinched at Summer's outburst. Yang then spoke in disbelief. Yang. But how can this be? Ty. Your mother is right Yang, I also knew of their fake transcripts and we still accepted them. Until Raven abandoned us. Summer. Ty. Ty. No Summer, as much as she is your daughter, she is mine as well and everything your mother said was correct. Yang. But they deserved and Vomit Boy did not deserve to get in. He had no combat experience and was a weakling. He does not deserve Ruby. He is weak and I will never accept him, no matter what happens. Summer only twitched her eyebrows. Yang sighed. He then responded. Ty. You are just like your mother Yang. I failed in raising you properly. I am sorry. You better change yourself Yang. Ruby already hates you. Don't make her avoid you completely and I nor Summer will convince her to change her decision if it ever came to avoiding you. I and Summer then left Yang. They knew that Ruby is starting to hate her even more. Yang could only cry after this. She knew that Ruby hates her as well. As for the others, Nora, Ren and Blake were completely saddened. They knew that they have lost John and Ruby. Even if they apologize, nothing will happen. They hate him. Nora was in tears while Ren tried to console her. Blake had completely lost her grip on reality and was in a trance. As for Weiss, she looked down. In defeat, there was nothing she could do. That weak dolt had already surpassed her. And finally Purrit, who now completely despised John for who he is. She will make sure he pays. And finally Jean, who informed Nicholas, her father, about what John had told her, and needless to say he way beyond furious. He then yelled. Nicholas. John, mark my words, I will make you pay for what you did to the Ark heirloom. I and Summer then headed where Azazel was waiting. He was standing in the corner. He then asked. Azazel. So how did it go? Summer. What do you think? Azazel sighed in response. He knew from what John and Ruby said that they will need to change themselves very soon or they will hate them. Ty. So what will happen to them? Azazel. Osmond told me that he would be taking them back to Remnant and given that it is a break time, many have decided to stay here. So what will you do Summer? Summer. I think I will stay. I like this place. Ty. But Summer. I know Ty, I missed you too, but if Salem comes to know that I am alive, she will do anything possible to attack and kill me, so it is best if I stay here. Osmond. Summer is right, I made the mistake of letting her go to that area once, I will never do it again, so what will you do Ty, will you stay here? Ty. I don't mind, besides I like this place, peaceful unlike back home, so who are the ones going back? Osmond. Only Crow and Ironwood will be coming back with me. They need to keep a check on Atlas and have a good reason for his disappearance. He cannot let them suspect that they know about this world. Summer. I was told by Ruby about Sway, so where is he? Ty. Oh him, give me a minute. I then brought a cylinder, which did catch everybody off guard. Summer then asked. Summer. Ty, are you sure this is him? Ty. Just give me a minute Summer. I then put the cylinder on the ground. The cylinder then perked up, revealing a tricolor Pembroke Welsh Corgi with grey eyes. Like some Pembroke Welsh Corgis, he has a bob tail, which is nowhere near the length that would indicate him as being a Cardigan Welsh Corgi. Like some Pembroke Welsh Corgis, he has a bob tail, which is nowhere near the length that would indicate him as being a Cardigan Welsh Corgi. Summer. So this way, the one Ruby talked about, he is so cute. Azazel. Interesting, so this is the effects of aura you told me about Osmond. Osmond. Yeah, this is one of them. Zwei then sniffed Summer, he immediately found the scent of Ruby on her, she immediately jumped on Summer and started licking her face, which Summer enjoyed and laughed about. Tai decided to take an apartment so that he and Summer could live together and have a moment. They knew Ruby would live in the Haidu residence. They all then teleported to Haidu residence, which was a massive mansion, which made Tai and Osmond gasp in surprise. They then went inside and saw Ruby, John, Issei and the orc greet them. Ruby then noticed Zwei next to them. Ruby? Zwei. The corgi barked and jumped at Ruby. It has been such a long time after meeting him. She then cuddled him. John then asked, John? So this is Zwei, the one you talked about? Issei. Wow, this little corgi is something. Asia. He is so cute. Irina. Yeah. Rias. I know right. Rias also had a cute expression on herself. Issei and the others also cuddled the pet. He mostly was loved by everyone present except for one person. Akeno then asked, Akeno? Where is Kaneko? They all then saw Kaneko had jumped to a top shelf, which everyone noticed. She was hissing at the corgi who looked at her confused. Kaneko? Away doggy. Zwei did not care and knocked the shelf making Kaneko fall to the floor. She held her head in pain. When she noticed Zwei on her licking her face, she immediately went pale and started running away from Zwei. She then yelled, Kaneko? Nuo, stay away from me bad doggy. Kaneko kept running away from Zwei. The corgi thought this was a game and started chasing the Nekomata. Everyone laughed at Kaneko's condition. Kaneko was yelling at Zwei to stay away. This turned into a cat and dog chase scene, which everybody enjoyed. After which Tai got along with Issei's parents relatively well, even they enjoyed Zwei's company, minus Kaneko who was sitting at the edge always on guard, after which Tai and Summer went home, back to the apartment they had purchased. Scene change. The next day, 7:30 am. After the usual wack-up scene which was Issei with his girls and John waking up after that, they all then decided to head to school. It has been a month since Issei had entered school. There has been a lot of homework. They then entered the school where they saw two familiar faces. They were the Rias and Ravel. They were working on something after which Issei called you to them. Issei. Rias sensei, Ravel. They looked at Issei, since they were not there in the house at that time because of supernatural work. Ravel immediately jumped to Issei, while Rias also did walk towards them. Rias. Do you have any idea how much you have made all of us worry Issei? When did you come? Ravel I missed you Issei-sama. Issei. I missed it too as well, come I have a story to tell you guys. One story later. Rias. I know about the dimension you went to, but you guys are telling me you fought against in many entities, reality warping beings, and freed that watcher of his curse. Did I get that right? Issei. Yup, every single one of them. Anyways I am happy to come back. Rias. I will inform it to the student council, they missed you as well. Ravel. Yeah, many had lost their happiness because of their disappearance, and who are they? Issei. Oh them, come introduce yourselves. John was the first to introduce himself. John. The name's John Ark, pleasure to meet you. Ruby. My name is Ruby Rose, it is good to meet you too, Miss Rias and Ravel. Ingvild. And mine is Ingvild Leviathan, I am Issei's girlfriend, it is a pleasure to meet you. Ravel on hearing this got jealous, while Rias looked into the list. These were the new students that were joining here today. Rias also knew the two new teachers would be joining as well, that being Summer Rose and Taeyang Xiaolong. Rias. Alright, head to your classes, your first period would be beginning soon, and that is when you can introduce yourselves. Everyone. Yes Rias sensei teach. Rias nodded with a smile, as she also headed beside them. The teachers were the first to enter, with Summer Rose being the first to introduce himself too. Summer. My name is Summer Rose, I will be your English teacher, it is nice to meet this class, let us get along well, and one more thing, I do not tolerate indiscipline, so you better behave yourselves. Everyone nodded in agreement as Summer spoke in an intimidation tone. Rias then spoke. Rias. Alright guys, come and introduce yourselves to the class. Ruby was the first to enter, she then spoke. Ruby. Hi, my name is Ruby Rose, it is a pleasure to meet all of you. The boys cheered for another girl, while the girls also were happy as she seemed to be a little sister figure. Next was John Ark. John. The name's John Ark, short, sweet, rolls of the tongue, it is nice to meet all of you. John did not say the last part because now he is dating someone. The girls cheered as another prince came here, while the boys cursed because another pretty boy show up. John's sweat dropped at the scene. The next was Ingvild Leviathan, and this immediately caught the attention of boys and girls alike. Ingvild. Hello, my name is Ingvild Leviathan, it is nice to meet all of you. The boys cheered like it was a goddess that descended from heaven that entered their classes. Her beauty was on par with Rias and Akeno, or Sona and Tsubaki. She was like the fifth queen of Kuo. The girls also cheered for Ingvild, which made the Leviathan princess nervous. After that another bomb was dropped in the form of a returning student. They recognized a brown boy everywhere wherever they went. Issei. Hello everyone, it has been a month since I have last seen you guys, you know me, Issei Haidu, Aka the enemy of woman, Aka the perverted beast, it is nice to meet all of you. The class was in uproar as it was a good day for everyone, someone who was missing for a month has finally returned back, that was when Summer and Rias calmed the class down, and Summer spoke. Summer. Any questions? Boy student number 1. To the new students, where are you from? John. I am from New York, America. I can't tell them I am from Remnant. Ruby. I am from Japan. Ingvild. And I am from Europe, Italy to be precise. Girl student number 1. To Haidu, are you still perverted and where were you for a month? Issei. Well, to answer that one, I went on a soul-searching journey. I went away to learn what am I doing with my life and how do I change myself. And I did, although I am still little perverted, let's be honest, we all are, but you won't see me peeping through holes with the perverted duo again. Many minus Mitsuda and Motohama cheered at this, one member of the perverted trio is gone, besides Issei is not a pervert at least for a while, while Yui and Kaori wanted to talk to him, they also wanted to apologize for their actions. Murayama. To all, do you have a relationship? John. Oh, me and Ruby are dating, so we are in a relationship. This caused many disappointed sighs from both male and female students for obvious reasons. Ingvild. Ice, should I? Issei. Do it. Rias. No, wait. Ingvild. As for me, I am Issei's girlfriend and his love interest. There was a pin-drop silence for a while, after that there was a massive uproar in the class, many if not all students were in his disbelief, many males were angered that Issei got such a beauty, while the girls were lost that a potential princess was now a victim of a beast, some even fell unconscious by the revelation. Issei, you bastard. Haidu. We must protect Ingvild-sama from the beast, we cannot let her be tainted, she is our queen, we must protect. Issei had an evil grin watching the chaos going on, John then asked. John. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Issei. Yep. Ruby and Ingvild were confused, while Rias sighed. Summer sweat dropped, this is an interesting batch she will be teaching. Summer. Alright, you can sit next to the church trio. The four nodded and they sat next to the trio, happy that their friend circle has been reformed. Meanwhile Mitsuda and Motohama knew that they are on their own. The class then began, which was just the usual school subjects. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi Issei and Chibi John running from zombified single Chibi students. Issei and the group were having their lunches, they were talking on how things were going on, Ingvild dealing with an endless barrage of questions, and they were trying to tell not to go for Issei and many more negative things. John was asked on what America was like and how he met Ruby and all. Ruby had to deal with something similar to Ingvild, minus the Issei hating part, while Issei had to deal with his two friends that had interrogating him like a convict for giving up his perverted ways, however they were sent away by Kaori and Yui, who were pretty much annoying him at this point. Yui and Kaori approached the group and Issei asked them. Issei. Ah, Murayama, Caddis, fancy seeing you here. Tell me, what is it that you desire? Yui. Your forgiveness. Yui and Kaori bowed before the group, which did caught Issei off guard. Issei then said. Issei. First and foremost, I should apologize for what I did a month ago and Kaori. No, I attacked you first and I should be apologizing. Anyways, how did you go on this journey? Issei. Simple, I realized that anger was getting the better of me and my perverted ways were only harming others, so I ended up going on this journey and that is where I met John, Ruby and Ingvild and we became close friends and after that we ended this journey together, so friends. Yui and Kaori looked at each other and said. Yui. Friends. They then sat next to the group, after that Ingvild then asked. Ingvild. Ice, how do I look? Ingvild was in her new school uniform, she twirled around and asked the blushing Issei. Ingvild was in her new school uniform, she twirled around and asked the blushing Issei. Issei. Amazing. Ingvild smiled in joy, while the church trio was jealous at the attention Issei gave Ingvild. Issei looked at the three and spoke. Issei. You three also look good. They smiled and they all started conversing about their journey and what they did. They all then had a good time. John and Ruby decided that they don't mind living this new life. Yui, I never knew that your parents were teachers. Rose. Ruby. Just call me Ruby, and my father was a teacher before, while my mother wanted to try out a new profession, but worry not, dad is nice, but mom, well just don't anger her, and you should be okay. John, Ingvild and Issei gulped, they knew that they should not anger Summer Rose. After that they went back to eating and continued their classes, and it was a normal day. Scene break. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.